Hello, everybody. I didn't even know. I was just on my phone. I'm waiting for Diesel. Do you like my new voice? It's cool, isn't it? Anyways, get rid of that.
There we go. Ooh, back to normal. What's going on anyway? Hi, everybody. Hi, Zed. Hi, Rev Bomb. Who else we got in the chat? We have Mohawk Mike Motorcycles. What's up? How are you? Who else we got? Let's have a look. All's good. Yeah, I'm not actually hosting this one. Diesel is, but he's Brad's just messaged me. He is on his way. I'm hoping all the audio's good. I've hashtagged a load of women riders and stuff. So hopefully we've got a lot of females in on tonight's stream. Get the women on here. Who else we had on here? Saw some other people. Who else was there? Angel Face Motor Rider. Hello, good evening. Yeah, I didn't realise I went live then. Just looked up on my screen and then I saw myself. What a lunatic. Let's put my phone down over here. So how is everybody? It's been pretty wet and miserable here in the UK this morning. Kind of like calmed down, and then it went all super windy. White What Rider, good evening. How are you? How's the Isle of Wight? Anonymous Biker is in. Hi, Anonymous. How are you? Yeah, it's been raining all day up there with Zed as well. Hopefully, when Brad rocks up, how can you be late to your own live stream? He's a nutcase, isn't he? It's all them Burger Kings he's been eating. Here he is.
Jeez, I got stuck in traffic.
He's in the house.
I got stuck in traffic.
Yeah, you were down Burger King, weren't you?
No, I should have, but hang on, I got to fix something here. We'll get everybody up here. Oh,
Good
yeah,
stuff.
throw a flag on. Got to be patriotic today.
Oh,
All right, let me find a link here. I can't remember how to put the link in.
Angel Faces at work. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Okay, so how's it going, Jim? How's things over there?
Good. I'm now officially kind of retired now, so
Yes.
handed in all my stuff on Friday. That was my last time in work.
Outstanding.
Yeah, that is it.
Okay.
All done and dusted.
All right, link. Can't remember how to do that, Jim. You're gonna have to teach me.
What's that?
How do I put the link in?
The link in. Oh right. Oh yeah. So you should have a in the bottom of your screen on StreamYard. You should have a share. It says mute, stop cam, cam mic, share.
Yep. Oh,
Click
share.
on share.
Oh yes, there it is. Copy.
Yeah, and you just copy and paste it in and put it in the chat.
There we go. Let me paste that in.
Yeah.
And there's the link for anyone who wants to come and join the Diesel Boys here today.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got miserable crap weather, and so.
Yeah, I think we had a bit of your miserable crap weather as well. Start off with, we've had some proper strange weather lately. Random.
Yeah. So I got to ask,
Jonesy.
where has finally Friday been?
Oh, mate, I've got one to edit, but because it's been so bad over and I've been so busy with moving and all the rest of it and job wise, I haven't been out on the bike. Look at Zed, look at him.
Look at this. Look at that. Yeah. What is this business?
Oh my God. Look at him. He's gone full Leon, isn't he?
Good evening.
What you drinking, Dad?
What am I drinking tonight?
Yeah, man.
I don't know. What are you drinking? Oh, Jura.
What the hell is that?
Jura Journey.
Yeah,
single malt.
That's fucking great.
And a
Love
little
the t-shirt.
Italian number chaser.
Oh my god,
Oh
he's proper,
boy.
isn't he?
Oh boy. Rev, how are you, man?
I'm good. Yeah, good to see you guys. Yeah, so I've waited so long. I've finished a bottle of Pinot already. So
Oh my god.
You've got a
Keep an eye on
green
him,
screen
yeah.
now.
I've got the green screen. So yeah, I've got myself a background, so I can flick in and flick out. I've figured out how to do the StreamYard stuff now. So all good, guys.
Oh, he's totally proper
Excellent.
professional, isn't
See, and my camera's not doing what it's supposed to be doing.
he? Oh, what's that?
That's not what it's supposed to be doing. That's what it's supposed to be doing.
That's better.
Okay. Yes.
There we go.
Yeah, yesterday I had a course. I had to take my coil rig BOP course. So that's a Zoom thing. So you have to change all your camera settings
yes.
for Zoom. So yes. Who we got in the side shot? We got Jonesy. We got Anonymous Biker. We got White Rock. Let's see. Oh, Angel Face Motor Rider. Jonesy, glad you're with us, man. You're got the booster cables. You're back. Everything's good. Saw that on your Instagram. So glad to see that. That was probably not a very good day for you, man. You guys, so all right. Jim, officially retired. I see you got some cool baubles from your mates there at work.
Oh yeah, got some right cool ones there. Yeah, got some good gizzards there. Yeah, very overwhelming. It's very nice.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's good.
Yeah. Well, someone likes our flags, Zed. Come on, Rev. Where's your British flag, man? Get it up there.
Got to get the logo up there. Got to get the logo up. That's probably going to be the last couple of months you see that, because once the bike arrives, then it's going to be the new one in the background. So it's the last couple of months of this one. I had just a quick one, very, very quickly. A lot of people have obviously commented on my new channel intro, and people have been messaging me, how the hell did you get the audio on that? I spent 14.5 hours actually getting the audio up on that. What we actually did, we stole the Gesto and Lane video when Emma and Carlos came out to do the bobblehead video. I won the competition, so they came out to do some private photos, and we actually took them down to the local supermarket because they couldn't use the toilet in my house because of lockdown. So I said, I'm going to take you to the local superstore. We went and did that, but on the way down we shot the video, and Emma and Carlos, obviously the bit where we sat at the traffic lights, they're actually going rev bomb da, 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 da. It's Thunderbirds themed, rev bomb da, 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 da. So what we actually did, I went out on a Sunday and I placed my 2 GoPro cameras at the side of the road, and I was just running up and down the road, sat there revving the bike up, then did a pull away, and I'm going up and down the road. And then this car pulled up and he's looking at me GoPros, and I'm like, what are you doing? He went, oh, he said, I've just seen these 2 GoPros at the side of the road. I thought, who the hell was that? I went, yeah, I'm running up and down the road. So he actually sat with my cameras while I was doing the run up and down the road. And then I spent about 14 hours overlaying the audio over the music to try and do my new channel intro, but it was like the timing on it, I'm having to sequence everything, so it took me about 14.5 hours. But a lot of people have said,
Wow.
your new channel intro is like the business. I went, yeah, but I could have got Gesto and Lane to probably do it, and they probably took them about 2 hours. But
So that background behind you, Rev, that Gesto and Lane made that, didn't they?
yeah, this is the Gesto and Lane bobblehead that they done, and all I've done is obviously add the YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and my Rev Bomb. But the Rev Bomb and the bike is the photo that they actually took. That photo was actually taken outside the house, and all he's done is obviously enlarged my helmet, banged a load of bits in, done the flash on the exhaust. So yeah. If you're looking for obviously bobblehead stuff, or you want photo work done, or you need video work done, drop Gesto and Lane, an email, or send them a message, because these guys are really good at what they do.
They are, yeah. I know they did Scouse's old logo.
They did Scouse's one. They've done Reevy's one for him. So yeah, they run competitions all the time. But obviously Carlos is in demand at the moment. And if you haven't seen the latest Gesto and Lane video, don't look at Emma's penis.
Yeah, see that.
Oh, Jesus. No penises. No.
But how's you guys been? You all been good this week?
Yeah. Yeah, old
Yep.
Diesel. I'll show you a couple of the gizzards. Right. So you saw it on Instagram, didn't you? So I got that's the little one. Like the escaping
sweet.
airman. That's what you get when you
Yeah.
leave Sergeant's mess. You get like the escaping airman. And you get your little thing engraved on that. And then the big one, the daddy. Ooh. Got me paratrooper. He's huge.
Oh, that's
Beast.
nice.
That's nice.
Yeah. It's a nice one, that one.
Well
Yeah.
done. Congratulations, Jim, and
Yeah.
cheers to the retirement.
Oh,
one of the
yeah.
best.
What's that?
Yeah.
This is an angel face.
What? Just discovered Jim Diesel. Wow, she's got about 75
Hours of
Fridays
yeah.
to catch up on.
Yeah,
That's
finally Fridays. Yeah.
yeah. Are you related to Diesel's hog blog? Oh shoot. Well, kind of brothers from another mother.
Yeah.
All of us here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know if you guys knew, but Jonesy was having some heart troubles there. He's in the side chat, so they had to give him the booster cables to get his heart
Yeah.
back online here
I
the other day.
saw that on Instagram. I was passing on my regards to him.
Yeah.
What's going on with you, Zed? You get a haircut or what?
What's going
I'll
on
tell
with
you-
you?
Yeah.
He's like is this like a 21-year-old in
I was
the
gonna
room?
say, he looks like he's 20. What's going on?
I've had an easy life.
Been moisturizing or
No, because I'm at work, I'm wearing a face mask constantly. It absolutely wrecks your beard. It starts to all break and fracture. So I've just got a feeling that in the next month or two that the wearing a face mask might not be compulsory. So I've basically shaved it back a bit and I'm just going to let it grow out again, hoping that by the time it gets to the stage that it's going to start breaking, we'll not be wearing masks and it'll not be a problem anymore.
Hmm.
So that was
Gary's in the room.
Yeah.
the whole reason for it.
Oh, Gareth's in the room, so hey Gav.
Gareth,
He looks 20.
who gave me shit because my iPhone I typed Gareth, but iPhone doesn't like Gareth. It doesn't recognize that. And he gooned me on a live about that. Yes. So, an anonymous biker in here. I don't know if you guys seen his last recent video there, really debating on us on a getting. Oh,
Yeah, an adventure bike.
Mm.
something popped up on me here.
Yeah.
Oh, look at who's here. The
hello.
Mrs. Burning Asshole.
Uh,
Welcome. So yeah, adventure bike. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Hi,
it's,
everybody.
where's the old man? Is he back at work? Is Gareth back at work?
Yeah. Oh, I've got him on here.
Oh,
Say
look,
hello.
There he is.
He was on here. Hang on here.
Oh, there he.
Oh my.
Yeah. So adventure bikes, Jim. Weren't you talking about it? Maybe too.
Yes. I went and visited my mate Dave yesterday. Yesterday. Yeah. He's got a couple more adventure bikes in. Yeah. So another BMW GS. He had the Honda. Was it Africa Twin?
Africa Twin. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll tell you what he did. He had a really nice BMW R1200. That was lush.
who's got an echo going on?
That was really nice.
Somebody's got going. Somebody's got going.
YouTube open.
Who's got YouTube open?
Of course.
Cool, not many.
So yeah.
Echo.
Echo.
Smitty's here.
Smitty.
He's in the house.
Mate, how you doing?
Smitty's got
Hi.
problems.
With the adventure bikes, Brad, I was talking to Anonymous about it, and it was basically what I said was I rode the Africa Twin, and as good as it is, I just when I'm riding it, I'm trying to think to myself about the application of the bike for a start. Where would I use it? Would I use it? If I'm spending that amount of money on one of those bikes, what if I dropped it? What
Well,
would
they
the
are
impact?
meant to be dropped.
Yeah, of course they are. But what about the resale value when you go in and you start getting a pissy salesman that points out scratches and bangs in your bike?
But Zed, don't you have like tons of outback country, like beautiful places that you could go slightly off road on adventures there?
There's a lot of it that's actually they're managed estates. You're not allowed on them. Although you are allowed to like walk across them footwise, but I wouldn't imagine you'd be allowed to ride a lot motorbikes and whatever. I think there is somewhere up north that's specifically designed for adventure bikes, but I don't want to be going to somewhere that's the only designated area you can go to, if you understand that, because there's a whole sort of genre of people that go to these places.
Right.
They're more like, aren't they, the big GSs and that, and the Pan America. They're more like I suppose the car equivalent would be a Range Rover, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
You don't see that off-roading.
Well, that's one of the points I made to Anonymous was that a lot of them don't ever see anything other than tarmac.
Yeah, but so like the Pan American stuff, no matter what, it's a new bike, whatever. It's big cubic inches, and I don't think I would want big cubic inches on an adventure bike just because I have a bagger for going on the highway, and if I'm going to go off road, and it's not going to be extreme, of course, at my age, especially by myself, but something like the Africa Twin or that Versys, Kawasaki Versys 650, that one I like. I take a bit of a shine to that one, and get a couple little bags for it, and I think that would probably be 650 still get you going down the road, no problem. It'll scoot good. Probably faster acceleration by far than my big old bagger, right?
Yeah.
So you got to jump on the highway for a while and stuff. I think that's pretty good. AB's saying right now that 600 cubic inches. I think that's lots. Jim, I think if you would you be more apt to get a bigger cubic inch, because I know you did talk about it a little bit.
Yeah. I'd have to have I'd have to have the. That's what I was looking at, the GS, or Harley's supposed to get back to me about having a test ride on the Pan American, but they haven't been back in touch. They said they were going to do it in April, and I didn't hear anything. So
yeah, they were supposed to get them here, and I don't know if they have them here yet.
Yeah, they do
to
1,000cc Versys as well, don't they?
I need to have words with that man up there in that top corner as well.
Me?
Exactly.
Yes. Yes. You've started something with these electric bikes, mate. I had I don't know if you've if I told you a couple of weeks ago, I had an email from Damon.
Did you?
Yeah. I've been mailing them backwards and forwards saying, love the bike, blah, blah, blah. When are you going to get a UK distributor? And they've said, we're looking to do it in the next 6 to 12 months. As soon as we get a UK distributor, we're going to get you up to do the first ride. I'm like, ooh. So that will be fun. Couple of things that obviously I've had this week. I don't know if you've seen the VFR, but that bike, oh my God, I've never had so much torque off a V-twin in my life, and it's only an 800cc. But we had a bike in today, and I was very disheartened with it. It's the new Triumph 1700 Thunderbird. 1700 cc's, looks like a big bobber. And when we went in, it only came in for an MOT, and I was like, I said, what's your horsepower on that for 1700 cc's? And he went, it's 98. And I went, no. Seriously? He said, yeah, it's 98 horsepower, but the torque range on it is immense. And I went, that can't be. And he went, yeah, it's 98 horsepower. I said, well, my ZX 750 is 124 and a half. I said, my ZZR is 197. You sure it's for 1700 cc's? He went, yeah, it's 98 horsepower.
Huh.
I'm like, okay. So it put me right off the bike instantly.
I haven't heard anything good about that bike, actually.
No, it's all fat and wide. It is a lovely looking bike, but 98 horsepower, I could get more out of a 125. So yeah.
I've got a question for Mrs. Burning Gas.
Oh.
when he is buying an Indian.
Oh.
Oh, that's really gonna happen.
That would be
Because-
telling.
There is no language barrier in here, so you go ahead and do whatever you need.
You must admit that bike sounded nice when he started it up.
I will admit it, I was a bit jealous of the sound of that bike. I mean, I've got a few things to do to mine to make it sound better, but just the noise that came out of that when he started it was just immense. It just sounded so good. With not a lot done to it, I don't think they had actually. It's not like Harley where to get any kind of noise you have to like put a stage 1 or stage 2 or whatever on it to get a noise. I don't think they had really done a lot to that bike to get that noise out of it, which kind of intrigued us a little bit because the new Indian Chief comes, like they're doing the tour, just like what Harley have just done with Pan America. That they're doing that this week coming. So they've got one at Edinburgh on Thursday. So I'm going to pop along and have a little look.
Oh, gee.
He was like, I got a little. I mean, nothing will take me away from my Slim.
No.
And I know nothing will take Gareth away from like his, but like it could be like a little addition to the stable, maybe.
Nothing wrong with that.
We'll need to see. I'm getting let loose to go and see it because Gareth's obviously away, so I'm getting to give first impressions. So I'm looking forward to it, though. I'm looking forward to seeing, like, when you see all the kind of reviews that are out there, like from the kind of bigger guys that have been invited out to like Arizona and stuff. The feedback from them is really good. So if this is if it's like that, then it could be
it was Saltire, wasn't it? Was that
Saltire?
Are they an Indian dealership?
I think they're the only Indian dealer in Scotland.
Yeah. I'll need to take a wee trip through.
Yeah, so I think you've got to actually to see that one. It's like, again, it's just like Harley did with the Pan America for just the one day they've got it.
Right. Yeah.
So you need to go onto their website and register interest, and I think the guy Levi, his name is, I think he'll phone and like make you an appointment kind of thing. So I'm just waiting on him phoning me this start of this week to book me in to see it next week. So
yeah, a wee twinkle in your eye there.
I know, like,
and obviously
we'll see what it's like.
Just to
keep your
mention,
eyes open, don't you?
Yeah.
Swami is in the room, 2 wheels down.
Yeah.
Hey, Swami, how you doing, man?
Swami, I dropped you the link, buddy. You got to get in here.
He's got to get it. Have you not seen his latest vlog? I was like, I got 30 seconds in. I'm like, what the hell? It's like boob overload.
Well, I'm glad the electric thing's taken off. So
yeah, it's
cool
really
if you if maybe they'll give you a dealership. But for some reason, that video is taken off on mine too.
I know.
It's doubled. I got over a couple hundred views in the last week, I think.
Yeah, I keep steering because obviously I'm saying to people that come in, obviously we do the electric bikes. We've done a lot of them. But I'm saying to everybody, if you want to see a 200 mile an hour, 200 brake horsepower bike, 200 mile range, go and check out Diesel's and just look at his review, and then go and check out the Damon Hype. That bike is, I reckon, I would put 100% on this. I would put my life on it. 5 years down the line, that bike is going to be the future.
Well, I wouldn't be so confident.
Yeah,
because Yamaha just patented a 450 brake horsepower.
I know.
electric motor.
I've just seen that one. And there's also one that's, I think one of them has got stabilizers on it, but it just folds up into the
The thing about it is the technology's moving faster than people can report on it.
Yeah,
it sure is. Yeah,
definitely.
And I don't know if you've noticed, like, see, like in all the electric motorsports and whatever, ABB seem to be a very, very big part of it, obviously, because they'll be using ABB to control with their processors and whatever. So there's quite and Williams as well. Williams has got quite a big influence in it all. So I think that what will happen is all the manufacturers will use a base platform and put their own tweaks on it.
Yeah. But do you get a free Ruroc helmet with it?
Who cares?
Jeez.
What's the jackets?
I'd have put the Ruroc mention in there.
The Engine Hawk.
jackets. What's his
Engine
name?
Hawk.
Yeah, Engine Hawk. That's it.
Aye.
He was training them. Brilliant. Love the disclaimer in the beginning of the video as well.
I know, it was good.
Does anyone in this room have a Ruroc helmet?
No.
Nah.
No.
No.
You not gonna jump on that bandwagon?
My
obviously.
mate's actually got one, and
Oh, yeah.
he loves it.
Is it all it's cracked up to be? I just don't like that it's not in a store and I can't.
I don't know what his expectation levels were of it to start off with. So he seems to be happy with it. Whether he bought it for the design, it was or whatever. But purchasing a helmet at that price online without being able to hold it, touch it, wear it. I've got an odd shaped head, so I mean, like I need to go into a shop and try helmets on, because there's certain helmets that the outer shells are too tight, and like I'm sort of kind of in between a sort of medium large to large.
I found that
And
with the Nolan.
Yeah.
Hill.
yeah, it's like showy. I can't wear showy because they're too tight on my temple.
You see, the thing is, obviously, when I had my crunch a couple of weeks ago, and obviously my LS2 is like basically full Buck Rogers Cylon helmet. I actually approached LS2 and said, look, you know, what can you do me on this? I'm looking for a new one. We don't do that helmet anymore. It's discontinued. And I'm like, no, I love the Valiant Chrome. The new one is out. It's called the Valiant 2, which is a titanium. So it's a little bit darker, but it looks like pure titanium. And I went, all right, yeah. How much is it? £280. And then you're looking at the headset inside. The center headset's another 118. Iridium visor's another £20. And I went, yeah, okay. The insurance company are going to deal with it. Get myself a new helmet out of that. They actually emailed me this week and said, we're looking to just send you one. If you can just do a review. I'm like, happy days. You know, I'm quite welcome to pay for it. And they went, no, we'll just send you one for demo. And if you want to just demo and do a review on it, you can have the helmet. I'm like, okay, thank you very much.
Shy boys don't get sweeties.
Yeah. I'm quite happy to pay for stuff. I don't expect freebies. You know, I'm just a tiny channel, but you know, if you want to
hit the big time.
no, I'm only 1,500 subscribers, mate. You know, I'm not. If you have a look at, there's one up on, because I watched it tonight, and some guys won the Royal Jordanian. He did a Ruroc helmet on Royal Jordanian. And they've done I think it's Engine Hawk or something that the people that back him up or something. They've given this guy a free helmet, and he's like, "Oh my god, I've won a free helmet!" It was like, it's a helmet, you know. At the end of the day, it's a crash helmet. You know, if you get something for nothing, fine. But I expect to, you know, I don't expect people to just give me stuff and like, oh, just do a review. You know, if I want something, I will pay for it.
You wouldn't turn down a free case of A&W root beer. Don't even lie.
Oh, no, you're talking. I tried making it. It tasted like crap.
Oh no! I wondered if that worked out or not. So not as good as the meatloaf, apparently.
I went to the shop and bought some in the end.
Yeah, I think that's funny. You guys can't get root beer over there. The A&W root beer. I guess not over in your country, but it's like Gesto and Lane today. They watched remember that video I made, that short with the cheese and pickle sandwiches and stuff.
Oh yeah.
And they're like, "What the hell is Miracle Whip?" And so yeah, I guess you guys don't have that over there, do you?
Nope.
Oh, you don't know what you're missing.
There's so many.
The root beer in like some of the supermarkets have got like little specialized like American areas, and you can get in there, but I think you pay an absolute fortune for it.
Yeah,
it's the same as here. Yeah, we've got the one actually in my little town that I live in. There's a store down the corner. You can get all kinds of British chips and pop and sweets and stuff that we don't have here. I discovered something. It's called Tater. It's a company's called Tater. Oh my God, they make the best chips in the world. Crisps, I guess you would call them. But
Crisp,
they like when you get roasted chicken, it tastes like roasted chicken. It's incredible. Yeah. So and out at the base too, there's the Canucks out there, and they've got lots of stuff from the UK too. So I like to stock up when I'm going by.
You think that's bad, Brad? We've got a company in England called Walker's Crisps, and they actually do a competition every year where you can go on and name a flavour. The last 2 years we've had hedgehog flavour.
Hedgehog.
We've had I think it's Marmite flavour.
Oh
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, and they've done so many different flavours. Can people actually vote for their favourite flavours? But the thing is, when you go to America and ask for crisps, and it's like, and then you ask for chips, and it's like totally different things.
Yeah, your chips are fish and chips, and over here chips are potato chips and
Potato chips,
French
yeah.
fries are So same thing.
Then it's like fish and chips in Scotland as well. West Coast it's salt and vinegar, East Coast salt and sauce. You know, so it's
Yeah,
different.
yeah. Salt,
What
got
the hell?
salt,
All these wee-
What's the sauce, Zed?
well, it's a red sauce or brown. The brown sauce is like got spices through it.
Is the brown
Yeah.
sauce HP sauce? Like
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
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 that's what
Yes.
I learned. So
That's
I
all-
learned
that's-
that I make cottage pie, not
Yeah.
shepherd's pie, and I put brown sauce on it.
Oh yeah, it's
Oh,
got
yeah.
to be HP.
Oh, what's that, Jim?
But it's I did something.
Yeah. Well,
being
and you know
quiet.
what?
What I was doing.
And Scouts isn't here to defend himself, but when he gave me a can of mushy peas,
Oh,
fish and chips, I'm like, what is fucking wrong with you? That is terrible. Yeah. And
Grace wants to know if you're from UK, Diesel.
hey,
Angel Face, she wants to know if you're from.
originally from the UK. No,
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm not British. I'm born, bred, and raised in
Polish.
Alberta. Yeah. But have lots of friends in the UK. And having working on the base around the base so long, you kind of learn all the things that to say.
He's a UK citizen by proxy.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, picked up some things through osmosis.
Did anybody see Scouse's photo on Instagram?
Which one?
The one of the poor old squaddy basted to the barrel of the Challenger.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, jeez. He was
Yeah, I think
taped
I did.
on
Oh,
there.
yes. Yeah, he was taped onto it, wasn't he? Some American, it was an American, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah, the
Like
new, I think Challenger 3, isn't it? So it's the new one that's just come out.
was that the military version of duct tape, Jim?
Yes. Yeah, green
Yeah.
tape.
the good old green tape, as they call it.
Green tape, yeah. That's awesome. So yeah, other than that, big changes for me. No longer in operations at work. I've been trying for over a year to get out of operations. I've been in operations for 22 years. And I've had a real fascination with downhole work for a long time, and they've been letting me do some for the last year. I have my blowout prevention tickets and stuff, and so yesterday I got my coil blowout prevention, which is you have to stack them here. Having service BOPs isn't enough. You have to get a coil rig BOP too for coil work, endless tubing. And so I'm in that crew now, and my boss is fantastic, terrific teacher, and endlessly patient. So now I well site supervisor, just rigs from now on. So very excited about that.
That's good.
Excellent.
Well done.
Well done.
Yeah,
A job that you like isn't a job.
yeah. You'll never work another day in your life, right?
Absolutely, man.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's not riding motorcycles every day and filming it good. But it's still a lot of long hours and hard work, but it's
Yeah. Because I've had a lot of people say to me, "Oh God, I would love to have your job. I would love to have your job." You would not love to have my job. The crap that I have to deal with on a day. Yeah, you see the good side. You see where I go out and ride the bikes, but you don't see the stuff where I get back to the garage. And we've had, I think, Saturday, because obviously the weekend is our busiest day. I'm down to 2 mechanics at the moment because obviously lockdown and furloughs and that. So I've got the boss's son, who's 21. He tends to do my bike side for me. He's the only one that services this bike. And then we've got our older mechanic, Keith, who tends to do the cars and that. But today was an absolute shitstorm. Pardon the language, but shitstorm. So obviously me and the boss on the front counter, 2 mechanics working. We've got our part-time bike mechanic that comes in on a Saturday that preps my new bikes for sale. But we had a car in, and it was like, oh, my car's making this clunking noise when I go forward or backwards. Okay, got it up on the ramps. Clutch had gone, rear brake pads had gone. The wheel, the bearing on it, you could literally move it 1.5 inches. The wheel was ready to come off. So like, boom, that's the quote. And then we hit her with the quote, and she was like, "How much?" And I'm like, "That's what it is. This is what it's going to be. Boom, boom. You can take it to another dealer, get it sorted out by them, or we'll do it." And then we had this guy come in, and he'd got a 125 bike, and he said, "My bike's making a very, very weird noise from the back." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" He said, "Well, every time I go over a bump, it's bouncing about 5 times." Little 125 twist and go scooter. We got it in, we got it on the ramp, and I went, "You're not taking that home." And he went, "Why is that?" I went, "Your swing arm bolts are missing. You've got a wheel nut missing off the actual wheel." Yeah. And God knows how your suspension's keeping on, because your top suspension bolt is missing. How the suspension stayed on the bike, I don't. When was the last time you checked your bolt? You walk around the bike and did a bolt check? And he went, about 6 months ago. When did you last have a service? About a year ago. And
right.
Yeah,
Somebody
and
has
it's
a death wish.
yeah, death wish. And as I say, I do a thing called a walk round, and it's a 30-second round the bike. Start at the front of the bike, work in a clockwise circuit, look round the bike. Have you got any bolts hanging out? Check your disc bolts, check your chain tension, check your oil level, do your lights indicators before you ride off. And a good rider, he should know up there, this corner, 30 seconds walk round on the bike every time you ride.
Yep.
Do you have a T-clock chart? Do you know what T-clocks are?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, before you ride, you got to do all that stuff. You got to check everything. I mean, you're out there. I mean, it's bad enough you can get smoked by a car, but if you crash because you didn't look at something on your bike and you get hit the pavement, I think you shouldn't own a bike if you don't look at your bike before you ride.
Yep.
The amount of bikes that we get in, new riders, especially the 17-year-olds, where they rag the bike to the hill, but you get them in, and it's like, when was the last time you checked your chain tension? Oh, on my last service. When did you have a service? 6 months ago. And it's especially prevalent on the CBF 125 Hondas. The worst ones for it are the Yamaha YZF 125s, where the young lads think it's going to be a sports bike and they want to rag it to the absolute maximum. Normally we say 1 to 1.5 inch chain tension. Some of them, they come in, they've got like 4 inches of slack on the back. Yeah, and it's slapping about. We had one in on Wednesday, and he said, "Oh, we said my chain's come off for the 5th time." Well, have you checked your chain tension? Put you in for we always quote best chains in the market, DID gold with an O-ring, new chainers, yeah, he's here, new chain and sprockets there. But he'd massacred his back sprocket that much that he'd actually taken the chain and hit the nuts and rounded off all the nuts, so he changed all the nuts on the back sprocket.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah. And this is what you've got to do. You've got to check your chain tension at least once a week before you ride. Do your walk round every day. And I every bike I take out, I do 7 to 10 bikes a day. Every bike I would do a walk round on that bike before it's not just the safety of the bike, it's my life on the line every time I take a bike out. So, you know, a 30-second walk round is going to save your life.
Well, I've been saying that for years. The amount of people that just ride their bike out after a long winter and don't check anything, is crazy. You know, I don't know how many people do it, but I park our bikes on rubber mats because, you know, if you park your bike over winter time and you leave them on like on concrete or a hard surface, you'll get a flat spot.
Oh, go away.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, I put a brand new set of because our bike tire guy that deals with bike tires, he put a new set of Michelin 5. He said we've got the new Michelin Power 5s out. Oh, brilliant! I had them fitted last September.
Right.
I've not ridden the bike for 6 months, and then went to take it out, took it down the road, and it was like dunk, 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 dunk.
Yeah.
I'd flat spotted both brand new tires. We had to take them into the. And I said to the boss, "How am I getting me flat spots?" And he got the portable angle grinder on my tire. Put an angle grinder to the tires, just flat.
Right.
And he went, "Take it out." He said, "Basically, put your bike on the yard, hold the front brake on, do a burnout on the back wheel." We said it's the only way you're going to get rid of your flat spot.
Flat spot. That's right. We've got rubber matting in our workshop floor, so that's what I park the bikes on over the winter time, and then I'll move the bikes.
Yeah, what I tend to do now every week, I will roll it forward about 4 inches and then roll it back, roll it forward, roll it back, rotate the tyres. Yeah,
that's right. And I don't know if anybody else does this. I did it for years and I forgot this winter time. See, on the clutch lever, I'll actually put an elastic band around the clutch lever. Pull the clutch in.
Yeah,
that's what I was recommended to do that as well. A few years ago, and I used to do it. I can't remember the science behind it. I know I don't know if it was just for friction.
Is that hydraulic clutch, or is that a cable?
Well, it's hydraulic clutch. It's on the Harleys we've got just now. I think maybe
Just
that's what it don't.
Allows the air bubbles to raise to the surface through time because they settle.
I can't remember what he said.
Yeah,
because it's not good for your clutch springs.
No.
Yeah.
Angel Face has put some really good comments down here. You bring these up, Diesel. So she's got some really good points there. Spot on every time. You know, if you break a chain at speed, it's going to bunch up at the front, blow a hole in the engine. I will tell you,
if it doesn't take your leg out as well.
My bike technician that before I had this one. I had a CBR 600 before, and my bike tech that had changed my chain, and I said to him, "It's a pressed chain, not a linked chain. Can you make sure it's pressed in properly?" He had no idea, and he pressed the chain in, but he obviously didn't do it up tight enough. He took my bike out down the main dual carriageway and actually broke the press link, and it wrapped itself around the back wheel and locked the bike up at 60 mile an hour. To say that he crapped his pants was an understatement, but he had to pay for a brand new chain, brand new rear sprocket. Yeah. So definitely, check your chain every time, guys. And believe it or not, a lot of people have said, what's the best chain lube in the world? What I tend to do is brake cleaner. Get a big pot of brake cleaner or clutch cleaner. Clean your chain completely off, and the best stuff to buy is the cheapest spray grease in the world or old engine oil.
Engine oil?
Oh,
was that Elmo? It is Elmo! Hello, Elmo!
Oh man, Jim, where's the else Cookie Monster? Yeah, there we go. Puppet Joe.
Oh God!
I've lost him now. Where is he?
Well, honestly, we are adults in our household.
We have 2 young nephews, so
we do. Yeah.
Are you okay on the keys, Gareth?
I am Groot.
It's Grover, isn't it? Is everyone Grover?
It would be, but the green screen's killing his hair.
Oh yeah. Groot. Oh, they're all coming out now. I've got Darth Vader.
My other favourite.
And do not forget Groot.
Who's it?
Yeah.
God, we are all adults on this channel. I promise that.
Some of
The Mandalorian. Here we are. You know.
I have
So
to
how is everyone? I've not really had a chance to say anything.
Yeah, it's good to see you. Good to see you.
All right, mate. All right.
Is it hot over there, Gareth?
It's rainy season just now, so it's probably about 28 degrees Celsius. But it's a lot of rain during the day, so
100%.
it's only two seasons. So it's rainy season and dry season. So,
Yeah.
but it's all right. It's cool enough that I don't have the air conditioning on, so it's not too bad. Yeah. So.
You're freaking everybody out.
How? Oh, right.
Oh, God, Scouse is here.
In case anybody is wondering, like, you know, this is my wife, but we're 5,000 miles apart right now. So and that's why we're looking both live stream.
We are all over the planet, us people.
We're all over the planet right now.
Yep.
So yeah.
Oh,
so obviously I did overhear Zed asking Sarah about the Indian. Yeah, I'm not going to deny it. It is.
Sounds nice, mate.
It's definitely on that was the Indian Bobber.
Yeah,
That's the Scout.
I do like them.
That's not the bike that my other half and I have our eyes on just now. We have our eyes on the Dark Chief Bobber at the moment.
Yeah.
Because it's got the Thunderstroke 116 engine in it. It's the every other, I'm a Harley enthusiast through and through. I always have been, but my eyes have been slightly diverted towards this Indian.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Well, I feel a bit dirty.
But you don't have to justify yourself. If you like a bike, you like a bike.
No, I think it's because Harley, for as much as I love Harleys, I love every Harley apart from the new Harleys, if that makes sense. I don't.
Yeah.
I'm just still a little bit miffed at what they're doing just now. The price hikes annoy me a little bit. Sarah was looking at a new bike.
That's why I've not went for a new bike.
Yeah, it was the new
My
bike
engine's
that she
too
looked at is £26,000. And I'm like, I'm not paying £26,000 for a bike. I said, I'm not doing it. And I just felt a little bit like you can get more value for your money now, just to try something different for a short period of time.
There's going to be a correction. There has to be that price correction. They can't just keep doing what it's doing. And I don't know what it's even like over there right now in the UK. But so here, a sheet of plywood, 3/4 inch, like construction grade plywood, was $38, and now it's $96. A box of screws was $19. Wood screws is $38. So. So, and bikes are going through the roof, and RVs are going through the roof. And,
it's the same.
Correct.
It's the same here, Brad. We're getting work done in the factory just now. We're getting a massive extension put out the back, and we had to wait until planning permission was granted by the council, and you have to buy a building license and so on and so forth. Before it was presented to the directors for them to sign off on the actual build. And the last thing that had to be done was every single quote that was got for the job had to be resubmitted because of the price increases in the building materials.
Bananas. Yeah.
It's crazy. And that's over a short space of time.
I know that the economy's completely changed right now, and there's more money in manufacturing. Raw materials are costing more money. I get that, but I don't understand how a bike that cost £20,000 only 4 years ago is now £26,000. There's no difference.
Yeah.
No.
Apart from a colour scheme. That's the bit, and it's even got less on it than the bike that I have right now.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, so I just
that was my answer as well, though, was a case of if the only reason I want to change my bike onto another bike is for a colour scheme, then it's not worth
just
it.
Get it. Just get your own painted. If that was the case,
Yeah.
it'd be cheaper, and you'd still have.
So he's not here to gloat, but if we're going to talk about Indian, so Salty, I love that guy's bike. I really do. And I'll never admit that to his face. So, but, it wouldn't be my choice of colors.
Yes,
whatever you want. But for me, boy, I like that bike, and it hauls ass, and it's so much cheaper than, like you said, than a new HD, and it just hauls ass out of the box. I mean, it's powerful, and I don't know. He's not happy with the nav system, but who cares? I mean, that's not the bike. That's not the performance of the bike.
No,
that wouldn't bother me. But I could see myself maybe on something like that.
You know, I think I'll never get rid of my Harley Davidsons, and that's why I'll be able to say that I'll always be a Harley enthusiast. But I can see myself, as Sarah said earlier, adding to the stable and trying new different brands. You know, I've rode Yamahas, Kawasaki's, all this kind of thing, and I've stuck to Harleys for 10 years, and I've never really deviated from that. And this is the first bike that I've went, give this a try. So we'll see.
Talking quick one for Gareth? Have you seen the Night Rod on eBay?
Oh no. Is it the one that's 35 grand or something?
Yeah.
Right. So I'm going to say this. I could probably build Harley a Night Rod like that for half that price.
It was stage 2, 360 back end, air suspension, all in black or matte black, and I'm like, oh.
So I never went to a 360. I went from a 240 to a 300. And when you go to 300 to a 360, it's not actually that more expensive to buy the kit. It's the price of the tire that costs the money.
That is the only Harley that appeals to me. I love the V rods and the Night Rods. So there's no other Harley that just floats my boat.
But the problem is it doesn't lean anymore. It's like a blancmange. It's like a sailboat. It just goes like this. You know,
you wouldn't want to corner it. You just want to sit there and cruise, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Roundabouts.
It's the strain now. People just think, "Oh, stick a big wheel in the back of these V rods and that's it." You've got all the extension. You've got all the mechanic on the primary that's got to be extended out to match it as well. And that's where the money comes. It's all the primary gear that goes with it. And the extra braking as well. It doesn't brake the same anymore either. It takes a lot more, a bit more force to brake the bike, slow the bike down.
It is a sexy looking bike, I'll tell you.
I'll sell you one for 20 grand right
now. I'll stick with his ZR at the moment.
I thought you guys were coming out of lockdown over there. Aren't you getting loosened up on you?
We have May the 17th is when we unlock. Believe it or not, the first ride to Super Sausage, weather permitting, 22nd of May.
Are you going to travel up there, Jim? Go to Super Sausage?
A weekend.
I am up there for most. I'm up there from about 9 till about 12. So if you want to come up, Jim, long as the weather is good.
I'm going to sound really ignorant here. What is Super Sausage?
It is a bike. If have a look on my videos, Gavin. Ride out. If you actually look on my new channel intro, the bit where all the bikes are all off to the right and the guy stood in front of me is actually a Super Sausage calf. So average of about 200 bikes there every weekend.
Nice.
They do every last Sunday of the month, and they roll it every month. So we have Honda, Kawasaki, Yamaha, Suzuki, Custom and Harley, Indian, and Hell's Angels. So and it rolls every week. So you have to basically check in on their diary. What week is your week? But every time I turn up, I have my allotted space. I've got my own parking space, believe it or not. Super Sausage. Jim came up last time, and it was like, "Where's your bike?" Parked next to the tea hut. same space every time.
Yeah, but you can understand it. You speak to somebody who doesn't know and goes, "I'm way up to get my super sausage this weekend."
Yeah. The super
Would you,
sausage.
would you like to go to Super Sausage? Bring your leathers.
Yeah,
Bring your leathers.
but
She's
And
got a
lots
smile
of
on her
money,
face.
lots and lots of money.
yeah,
You
my
going up on the
Mrs.
Sunday,
Mel
or
loves
is
her
that-
bacon and sausage roll. So
So Jim, I don't we didn't really get to talk about it, but the battery problems you were having with your ape.
Yeah.
You know, I don't get
that
because
now.
it's like it gets 35 below here, and our batteries just sit in our cars and trucks, and they start a week later just fine. So it'd be that temperature, and your ape not starting with that with a new battery. That's not right.
I think it was. I was speaking to my mate Dave about this. I think it was the Optimate. We were talking about this because he'd had a couple of Italian bikes because of V-twins and stuff. They have to be at a specific voltage. If you get anything below 12 volts,
But your battery shouldn't drop below unless it's bleeding.
Yeah, but the thing is, the Aprilia workshops are going to do a video on it. Get a specialist in because so like if I've been out on my bike and the voltage was below 11 before I put it on the Optimate, it's only going to bring it up to that level. It won't boost it. So that's why I went out and bought. They said they recommend go out and buy an old school, either a car charger or a new type of charger, which is what I did. I bought this Halfords one, which is like a small dinky one, but it charges the bike back up to 12.4 volts. And I've had no issues since I've done that. I've had no problems with it at all. It starts first time.
I looked at
Yeah,
after I saw that, I checked the voltage on my Opti, and it's 13.6.
have you got a lead acid or you got an AGM, Jim?
I don't know. I've got the uprated one anyway. I've got because I upgraded everything because you have to on the RSVs. I've got the
because
Because of this flag clutch.
we get a lot of that where customers obviously bought a new battery, they've had it sat in the garage for 6 weeks, and we've got it's about £400 machine, and you put in basically the CCA, the amps, and it comes up either battery fair good, but what we're telling people is obviously if you've got something like an optimizer or a trickle charger, your battery's going to start 100% if lead acid batteries, AGMs, they're always going to start 100%. As soon as you bang the bike on, you cold crank it, it's going to drop that level to 75%. So you're going to ride home, you're going to obviously do your ride. If you've got your lights on or you're using your indicators or you're sitting there at junctions, you're not going to be charging that bike to full revs. So you're going to bring it up to 80%. You're going to trickle charge it. That's going to bring it up to 90. As soon as you start it again, it's going to drop it down. You're going to drop to 60, charge it up. You're going to bring it, and you're going to be doing that every time. So at the end of the day, after about 4 or 5 weeks, you're at 50%. No battery is ever going to get back to its maximum charge unless you're hitting it with a full 4 to 6 amps of charge. Optimates normally trickle at 2 to 4 amps. So what we normally say is every couple of weeks, forget your Optimate, forget putting it on trickle charge, get it in your garage, hook the battery off the bike, bang it on a proper, decent car battery charger, and bang that voltage all the way back up every time.
That's
Literally don't charge my bike all summer. I don't charge mine ever in the summer.
I make sure a CV1000 double I, you know, the naked Honda. Because he went away, he went on tour for 4 months, come back, it started first time. That's it, that's been in the garage, not on an Optimate or anything. I was really surprised. Got it out of the garage, boom, started it out first time.
Yeah.
And mine needs to stay on the trickle charger. Like whenever, no matter what, it needs just won't start. Like it's just got that much. It takes that much to start my bike. It just has to be on the trickle charger, no matter what time of year.
I only put mine on in the winter when it just sits and sits. And in the summer, like first ride in the spring, like I don't put mine on a charger for the rest of the year. But my bike also charges at 14 too.
Red Bomb, you'll be the same when you get the 14. Your battery has to be tip top because it'll take 2 or 3 guys to push your bike to get it started to throw that jump start. It did happen to me. I was sitting gassing to a few boys in the garage and I'd left my ignition on and the lights were on, so it just dropped below. It was only about a volt below where it should have been, and it just didn't have enough to throw the engine over.
What I tend to do, obviously, for boost boxing, we use boost boxes at the if you know what a boost box is, obviously for jump starting cars. We've got our Snap-on dealers that come round, and he actually sold me one of these, and I carry one in the garage, and I've got one under the bike. You can pick these up for about £100, and it's one of those, and it's called a Nocco Boost.
Ah, right.
Now that cranks out at 1,000 amps cold cranking. So most bikes cold crank 220 maximum. This thing cranks at 1,000 amps, and it will fit under the back seat of your bike for 99 quid, and it's a boost pack.
Right.
But not only can you use it to boost your car or your bike, you can actually use it to charge your phone. It's got an emergency SOS flash in it as well. So I carry one under the back seat of the bike, and I have one in the garage for boosting cars and bikes should battery go flat. So for 99 quid, it's called a Nocco Boost.
Yeah.
Like to see it,
but they don't work on trucks.
Oh, they don't. Oh no, they don't work on trucks.
Yeah,
They don't work on-
Jeez,
they don't work on
my
big
diesel
trucks.
No.
not
Yeah.
a chance.
I tried it when my Ford Ranger battery died.
No
I
chance.
tried. I says I'll try that, and I went.
I thought you said big trucks.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Mr. Ranger F350 Super Duty diesel, so that's a big truck.
I'd love to put my Raptor against that.
I'd drag it sideways all day long.
I'm talking about an off-road.
I will put pink slips on. I will drag you in circles.
I'm not talking about racing it. I'm talking about going off-road.
Good comment from
I'll put a chain on each end and drag you sideways around the parking lot.
yeah. Angel's actually got a good post at it. Just she test ride Jill Sports with no battery. Yeah, a bike will run without a battery as long as you don't stall it at the lights.
Yeah, you push it to get it going again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell you,
So
I'll
Zach,
tell you one-
oh, sorry, go ahead.
sorry. I was going to say, I tell you, one bike I was looking at was the Yamaha MT-01. Started
Oh,
following
right.
a guy on YouTube who's got one as well. That's quite nice.
Ah, it's a nice bike.
Little Diggler one, yeah.
It's a big V twin.
Right.
Right,
Yeah.
MT-01. It's a nice bike, but big, heavy brute though, isn't it?
Yeah.
I didn't think it was that heavy.
No.
It is a heavy bike, but it's where the weight is that's the
Yeah.
difference.
Yeah.
You know, it's like my mate came over from Switzerland and he's got one, and I mean he rode it from Switzerland all the way up to me. He actually stops in at Skeggy Cruiser. I don't know if
Right.
you follow Skeggy Cruiser on YouTube.
Yeah.
Andy goes to all the motovlogger meets in the UK. He has done for years, and that's what he's got, an MT-01. It's a beautiful bike.
Right.
He gives a wee shot of it, and I didn't. I thought it would be heavy, but see when it's up and running, it's actually quite
all right.
quite nimble. Yep.
Yeah. Because it reminds me of the remember the Bee King.
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
a
it's
lovely
better looking.
that.
Yeah.
I always wanted a Suzuki Bee King, and I bought a Hayabusa instead. But I know. But I did like the Bee King. It was just because it was like it had that like rugged big bike look, you know.
Yeah.
But
Huge.
I don't know. Maybe I should have tried it. I don't know. No, so
Jim doesn't like Hayabusa.
no, he doesn't like Hayabusa. No.
But yeah. I don't like the
New
one.
Hayabusa, the new one.
New
Yeah.
one. Anyway, I meant to ask you, Jim,
from somebody. Yeah.
So-
I think
how you enjoying retirement up there?
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
yeah,
I'm gonna
I've
throw
got
a shark in
days
the room then.
Retirement and start work on Monday.
Ah? Not bad.
Right.
civic life, sort of.
So I'm gonna throw a shark in the room then. Honda Goldwing.
Oh yeah.
Opinions.
Oh,
Goldwing.
I would
What-
have
what-
one in
an
a
old,
heartbeat.
old school one or a new one.
The new one.
Most
Right.
beautiful bike on the road. Most luxury. It's the Cadillac, the Lincoln. It's
Because obviously, if you follow YouTube, Missenden Flyer, Andy
Right.
lives about 12 miles from me.
Yeah.
He's just spent I think it's 18,000 on the new Honda Goldwing.
Wow,
He has spent nearly 8.5 hours trying to link his Apple CarPlay into his Honda Goldwing.
Oh, right.
Gave up
Hell-
in the end. Went
He'll
to
mend them.
Yeah. He loves the bike, but the actual generics, all the electronics and all the
Yeah.
gizmos, and I'm like, and I actually commented on his page, like, love the look of the bike, but it's not for me. It's big, it's bulky. It's not something you're going to be throwing around corners. Yeah, it's going to be something if you're 65 plus and you want to be an old man cruising along at 70 mile an hour. And obviously,
Probably is at that age, though. That's a bit people,
If there was bike racks here, you and I'd be going out back right now.
yeah.
Man, cruiser. There's those mutts that have big baggers. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like to be 200 mile an hour, like Z, 200 mile an hour, hair on fire, cornering like a proverbial, which is hence the ZZR. And everyone said to me, once you've sat on that ZZR, you don't want nothing else. And I went, no, nothing compares to my ZX7. When I first sat on it and took it out, I was like,
Yeah.
it's like riding a 21-year-old blonde, mate. It's like you don't
the power delivery on a ZZR is just it's ridiculous.
Yeah, he knows, but
It's
obviously,
ridiculous.
yeah,
Yeah,
it
it's just
it was
when I-
Stu's
when I-
video that steered me to it, and I'm like, yeah.
When I got my bike, it was December, and it was like the first time sitting on this bike, and like you open the throttle, and like mine doesn't have traction control. Mine's is pre-ABS, just the way I like it. I don't like any sort of interference with emergency braking and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a personal preference more than anything else, because I like to know that it's me that's controlling it and not some.
Well, can
Piece
I
of
jump
technology.
in with this? I bought was it back when I was a young man, when I was 30 years old? I bought a ZX10R, right? And it was the first generation that came with the ABS and traction control and everything. And I'm going to tell you the feeling it made me feel like a legend. Because I can remember going out, Sarah's filmed me years ago, going round corners, and I'm like right over, and I felt like Valentino Rossi, and it's like I felt invincible, But the minute you went, it wasn't shy and letting you know when it wasn't happy, if you know what I mean. The ABS or the traction control, it just went, no, you're not doing this anymore, and that bike was short-lived. But I do know what you mean, interference. But at the same time, though, for somebody like me who is who was a sports bike amateur back then, it did make me feel like I was like a total legend on the road. It did. It's one of those things.
Because obviously my one's not due till August, but I've been popping up to see the guy and I having a quick ride on it. But and I said to him, I've been fiddling with the functions, and he went, no. He said, what you want to do is power all the way on and your K-Track on 2. He said, then performance sports, just put your K-Track on 2, but give it the full power. You will get used to how that bike handles. And I'm like, it does. It corners like it's I wouldn't have thought a big. I think they're 279 kilos.
Yeah, the weight's all down low though on it.
But it's all at the bottom end
because the fuel tank's actually under it's under the seat.
But
so
that thing corners like it's on rails. I can chuck my ZX7 around, but that ZZR, Jesus Christ, can you corner that thing? And it's like, if you want to be a lunatic on it, it will soon tell you. It will soon slap you around the back of the arse and say, you're taking the mick with me. But on the feeling on the response on the handlebars and coming back through the seat, there's nothing that relates, and it just knocks my ZX7 into the floor.
Remember, Rev, it's meant to be a touring bike for the elderly.
Oh yeah. Fat chance of that.
Come on, Zed. Do you?
No.
Faster with it.
No. I'm more responsible without my beard.
Oh, jeez.
I think. Obviously, on a long run, Milton Keynes to Scotland, probably about 4 hours.
Nah, maybe. I think Zed looks like he just came out of Barlinnie.
How do you know I'm not?
For everybody else, Berlin is a prison. Just so you know. Right. In famous Scotland.
Speaking of presents, thanks to Scouse, I finally have stickers on the way. He, out of the blue, designed me stickers, and they're fantastic. So I can't wait to. They're done printing. It says they're shipped, so I'll be able to fire out stickers to everybody.
Oh,
'Cause
super.
I owe everybody stickers.
Oh,
Super.
talking of stickers, yes.
On.
If you remember my old stickers that I had, so it was just the black outline with the picture of the Rev Bomb bike with the name through it. I approached a t-shirt company and they said, "Oh, we do stickers now." So, yeah,
Yeah, green screen.
yeah.
Green screen's best.
Basically, the stickers are that.
Ah, okay, right.
So if anybody wants a sticker, drop me a DM on the Facebook or on the YouTube, and
I like it.
I'll mail you one out.
Yeah, got it from Motoloop. Must be some other moto vlogger, Diesel Line.
Was that? I missed the first bit. All I heard was lube.
Lube.
Oh my god! You close your ears to this, Mrs.
I'm actually going to log off and let you be.
Yeah.
I'm just going to hang out in the chat.
What's that?
I'm just going to hang out in the chat.
All right. Okay. Right. Okay.
See you later.
Bye-bye.
See you later.
Coming on, Sarah.
Yeah.
Oh, you got to see your Mrs. Gareth. Isn't that nice? Yeah.
It's
Good, isn't it?
It's good that I did say to her that she's involved in our YouTube channel and Instagram as much as I am. So it's good to see her getting online and like getting used to the surroundings. You know, if you're not used to it, then it can be quite young.
It took a lot for her to come on, mate. It took a lot for her to come on. We appreciate it. We really do. And I'm sure everyone will agree that she's always more than welcome.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. That's what I said to her. I says, because she mentioned it, and I says, well, I'm not going to stop you. At the end of the day, you're your own woman. When I'm not at home, when I'm away working, it's up to you what you do, and that's what she done. So good.
Spot on.
Right.
Yeah, it's good.
Well done. Well done.
Yeah.
What time is it there, man?
But that, as I say, we're talking about like that Pan America earlier, and I went through to look at one, as you probably seen my little short that I made the other day, and I had my little 15-minute segment, which is shocking. It's not worth it because you can't get used to the bike. You just sit in it and go, "Oh, this is it." And one of the things it has got going for it, it's got the build quality off the bike. It is there. It's a full package. It is quite a nice package of a bike. I do think it's worth the money. It's £16,000 for the S version, which has got the laced wheels. It's got the variable suspension and all that kind of thing. But a couple of things that did surprise me was the £2,000 for the luggage. It's a lot of money. So
2,000. It's 900, I think, here in Canada.
Yeah, it's
not near that much.
Yeah, 1,800 and something pounds for the 3-piece luggage set, including the brackets.
Maybe I think you're right. I think it's 900 for the bags, and then plus the mounts and stuff.
The baggage. So if you wanted the one that we seen on display, it was working out to be just under 21 grand. Right. So in all fairness, if you get a fully kitted out Africa Twin right now, it's 25 grand. So it is still cheaper. Right. But what Zed said is exactly what I would have been thinking about it as well. Now, I've had a few Harleys now, and the first thing you do when you take them in, they always go, "Oh, it's spotless, it's immaculate, we'll give you this for it, your trade-in value, blah, blah, blah." But if I was going to buy one of those things, I'd be going up there to absolutely tear it through its pace. And if it fell over and damaged and cracked and they tried to devaluate the product, the first thing I'd say is, but you've built a bike to go off-road.
Yes.
So how can you value this bike the same way as you would a road glide or a street glide or an ultra or something. You
Ah,
can't do it.
You know what, Gareth? I think that's because if you look at GM, they got the Z71 off road, and the
Yeah.
Ford's got the off road, but you get it scratched up and take it off road, they won't even warranty it if you wreck it off road or anything at all.
Yeah.
There's mud in the brakes. Oh, too bad.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's just all BS anyway. So
Yeah, it is, yeah.
I think you got to buy it because you want it and you want to go take and drive the shit out of it off road or whatever you're going to do. And
Exactly.
if you scratch it, you scratch. I mean, that's what you bought it for. So
Yes.
if you want a trailer queen or, you know, a garage queen, then that's what you have. But if you want to get something to go rip around in, you have to be willing to face the fact that you're going to do some damage to it. But
That's
man, you're going to, every dent and ding on that bike and scratch is a memory, and it was a good time.
Exactly.
You know,
If I had £16,000 just to throw around, yes, I would. I'd go up and just throw it around the hills up in Scotland and say la vie. You know, that's what it's for.
Yep.
But I don't have £16,000 that I can literally flush down the toilet. So it's for me, it's not something on my radar just now.
I know.
I'm getting a grump off with the 300 beer. I think you might have more fun. But I will say though, they have, in defence of Harley Davidson on this live stream, they have made a very capable bike for £16,000. I do think it's going to be a very good competitor, and I do think that they're going to bring a lot of people from BMW over because they'll be thinking to themselves, well, if I can save money and do the same thing on a Harley, then why not? So,
you know what I find is funny is that bike is the same price no matter what part of the world you're in. So
yeah,
Canadian dollars, American dollars, or pounds, sterling, whatever, it's the same everywhere. That's a big bonus for that company.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah,
they're going to charge you. You look at your money's double ours, so they're literally getting twice as much for the bike compared to Canadian dollars.
Oh yeah, definitely. You know, definitely. Oh, definitely. I just think that. It's that. Do you know why they're getting a lot of hassle right now? Is the BMW boys. Now the BMW GS owners are going in, and the first thing they're saying to themselves is, "It's not a BMW." Well, of course it's not a BMW. It's a Harley Davidson.
Yeah,
you know, and it's like it's almost. But that's what I keep saying to them. I says, but you're here because it's a Harley. Well, why are you here? Are you being nosy? You just want to see what your competition's like, or you just want to see how much money you could have saved. You know.
That's like going back into the day when, back in the 80s and 90s, isn't it? You would never have thought BMW, for instance, would have made an awesome sports bike. The 1000, you like BMW, and the same for Ducati. The Ducatis, wouldn't they? Were like in the 80s and early 90s, were like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. But now, you know, they've all got to start somewhere, and as I said, it's like we can talk until we're blue in the faces, but I'm telling you, like, obviously, it's not going to come from me. I'm not going to be one of their new purchasers, but I think that bike will take off. I really do. And I think what will happen is, I think after 1 year, you'll find that it'll probably will go, and I guarantee the resale will take off through the roof. I'm telling you, when those things become second-hand, you'll never get one. You'll never find one.
No. Absolutely not. Not for a long time.
You know, you'll be if you're talking about a brand new bike at £16,000 a year of depreciation, which is what 20% for us in the UK. So you're looking at getting it second hand, roughly around about 12 or 13,000 quid. That's a bargain.
You may or may not. It's hard to say. Demand is going to dictate that. Yeah.
Depends if the first owner's been $1 million Vogan.
Never been dropped.
Well, I'll tell you, I wouldn't be surprised if that
one careful owner.
Watch this space. I think that man will have one, and he'll
of course he will.
Absolutely, he will.
Up a mountain somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. That'll be the next.
He'll be riding, and he'll be spinning his camera around, and he'll be like, it'll be funny. Yeah. I'm not a real big. Sorry, Jim.
Sorry, Diesel. Sorry, Brad.
I was just gonna say, I'm not a real big fan of his, but sometimes he's pretty funny. Like,
Oh yeah, I do like him. I think you've just got to get used to his humour. That's all.
No.
You know.
I can't get used to him wrecking nice bikes.
Yeah,
But
that's the only thing.
can I ask a question? If you were a multi-millionaire like he is,
Yes.
and if you knew that you could make good entertainment on the TV by wrecking stuff, would you do it?
Yep.
Probably.
Right.
100%.
Now,
But I'm
watch-
not rich,
I
so
watch-
I can't get my head around that.
Right, I watch a YouTube channel guy called Whistling Diesel. Have you heard of him?
Oh yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Have you seen this guy? Now he's obviously got 100 and I think 100. He's got some millions of subscribers, millions.
Mhm.
Right. And all he does is he just goes and buys things and wrecks them, like Jeep Wranglers, Ford Raptors that are $65,000. He goes,
Yeah.
I'm going to go and just buy a Raptor and see what I can do with this Raptor. You know,
He shoots himself with a 50 cal.
Yeah, you know.
He did. Yeah.
And then he turned that monster truck that he had. He took it down to Florida and swam and put it in the ocean
Yeah.
because he could.
Yeah.
You know, and
But
I'm
he's
thinking to myself-
YouTube rich. Like
Yeah,
he,
he's
he,
YouTube.
he
see the-
literally is. Yeah.
Yeah,
See all the things that he's doing. That'll turn. People will start throwing things at him. Go and do that
Yeah.
to my product.
Yes.
that's
You
right.
know, it's-
Yeah.
Because
So-
the same happens with Mr. Beast. You've seen Mr. Beast on the internet,
Aye,
no?
aye.
Right. Mr. Beast makes his money by giving away money.
Yeah.
Right. So you'll give away $100,000 on a YouTube video, but you'll make $500,000 on it.
Yeah.
Because
That's
you'll
right.
get 50 million views on a video giving away $100,000.
Oh,
Yeah.
Is he that guy that just walked up to somebody and okay,
Yeah.
I have seen that. Yeah.
Ma-
He's 22 years old.
Aye,
Yeah,
my wee
why
boy,
doesn't he come to my house?
my wee boy watches him all the time.
Yeah.
In fact,
22, you know, he's 22
My-
years old and he's giving away millions because he doesn't need the money. So, yeah. So if I had millions like that, if I was YouTube rich, I'd wreck cars and bikes as
No.
well, just to see what I could do with it. You know, it's just.
I don't know. I'd be offloading my bike with my yacht somewhere. A lot warmer than here.
Walking in with a GoPro.
Yeah. I could ride my bike around my yacht.
I watched
Yeah.
it was like a documentary, and it was about the richest people in the world. And this guy had this. It was like a super yacht,
Right.
but this thing towed an exact replica, but it was like 2/3 the size. And all it had in it was Bugatti Veyrons, Ferraris. It was basically, he towed a hangar behind him. The boat basically carried all his vehicles, so wherever he went to, he had the cars that he wanted and the bikes that he wanted and whatever.
Jeez.
It was unbelievable. It had its
Yeah.
own chef and oh man, amazing.
Aye.
Believe it or not, here's a little story for you. So before I started motor vlogging about 7 years ago, I worked for a British Railways company. If you know who British Railways are, I used to build train signals.
All
And
right. Right.
and the guy that owned the company called Collis Engineering, big Derbyshire company actually. So it's up towards you, Zed. The guy that owned the company, Mr. Collis, we used to call him Peter Collis. He was worth a fortune. He actually sold the company to the directors for just over 7.5 million, and he used to come in every month. And I bought a new car. All right, what you got? And he came in. He had a Range Rover, but it was a specialist Range Rover. I can't remember the name of it, but it was one of these specialist Range Rovers, 420 brake. And he always used to say, "Take your shoes off before you step it." You had to sit in his car with a pair of socks on. You weren't allowed to wear shoes. He started with a Range Rover. He took me out in his Range Rover. Then he had a Lamborghini Huracan.
Nice.
Took me I used to just sit there and I'm like, not impressed. And he went, "Why?" I went, "My bike's a lot faster." He actually took me out in a Veyron, and I went, and he went,
Holy crap.
"Yeah, what do you think?" And I went, "I'm not impressed." Of all
Yeah.
the cars, and he'd had Lamborghinis, he'd had Ferraris, he'd had Porsches, he'd had Range Rovers. And he actually took me out in his car, and I said to him, "What the hell is that?" And he said, "It's called an aerial atom." And I'm like, "Okay." He said, "But go and get your bike helmet." And I went, "Why is that?" He said, "Because if you don't wear a bike helmet," he said, "your mouth will be open wide." He said, you will suck back. And he took me out in this aerial atom, and it was it had got the Honda, I think it was C-Tech engine or something.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
But it was a supercharged, and it had it stage 3 remapped. And I went, nah. And we've got a straight in just outside Milton Keynes called Leighton Buzzard, and you've got 3/4 of a mile between the 50-mile camera and the 50-mile camera. And he booted it coming out of the 50 mile, and I'm like, and he hit it, and the brakes, literally, I felt like my stomach had come out. And I said to him, "What the hell are you got on it?" He went, "Ceramic brakes." It's got a 0 to 60 in 2.2 and a 0 to 100 in 4.8. And that was the only vehicle that actually, Veyrons don't do nothing for me, but this aerial atom, and it's literally like a Formula One car without the fairings on it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That atom is like, oh God. And I said to him, "That is it." He said, "Oh, what do you think?" And I went, "It's such an amazing car for the money." But the thing was, he was 65, and he used to have a 17-year-old Dolly Bird on the arm every time he came into the factory. Yeah, it just shows you how money can talk. But his aerial atom was like, but I said to him, at the end of the day, nothing compares to being on a bike. The adrenaline rush when you actually open that throttle up. Whether it's a cruiser, a bagger, there's nothing that just beats biking. The pure adrenaline, the wind in your face.
And you can spend $17,000 on a bike that'll outperform a $300,000 supercar.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah. And you can't replace that. The money does not replace the adrenaline rush, and you can't explain it till you actually ride. The actual feeling of being out on a bike, whether it's a 50cc, a 125, or the biggest super bike you can get, there's nothing that beats that rush of being out on a bike.
Ah, that's right. Yeah, I get that. Unfortunately, do you know the only thing that lets me, like, I know it's maybe deviating it from slightly, but we were out last week, and what you're saying is totally right. It was a beautiful sunny day. We were up the side of the banks of Loch Lomond. It was beautiful. Wife and I were riding. We had a couple of friends with us, and then there was guys on sports bikes, Rev. I'm not kidding. They must have been just off my handlebars. The way they were overtaken. And I always think to myself, I go, I love that power that a sports bike has, but with that power, it comes with a lot of responsibility. I don't want to sound like Batman.
Yeah, no, it does.
Is that it's like you've got to respect it, right?
If anybody tells him what I just said, sorry to cut you off, Gareth, but anybody tells this prick what I said.
No.
Go ahead.
It's like you've got all that power. Go to that rear wheel of that bike. You've got to learn to respect that power.
Yeah.
And that's the bit that pisses me off, and I'm going to use that at work, because when I was up there and I was riding, and there was 4 of us, and we're just enjoying it. We're doing 60 miles an hour up the side of Loch Lomond. It was a great day. And Zed probably knows the guys I'm talking about. You know the ones I'm on about, don't you, Zed?
Yep.
Like that, right? And they're coming up the side of you, and you think there's no need for it.
No.
You've got 200 horsepower there, but keep that crap away from me, my wife.
Yeah, I know, but 9 times out of 10, it's at the wrong time as well.
Yeah, that's right.
It's like, they know the road, that's fair enough, but they've saw a gap, and they're basically overtaking and taking the corner at the same time, and they can't be 100% sure what's up ahead or what the road can do, especially up that loch side, because you know yourself, Gareth, that at this time of year the snow's melting, the water's running off the hill.
It's crazy.
The roads are still wet and cold.
Aye, that's right.
Even though it was sunny, because I think the week that you were up, I was up the week before. It was just my last vlog that I did. And it was the same.
It's exactly the same, but it's just that because they have the power and they've got the license, it's the experience they don't have. Now look at Rev, right? Rev's obviously got all the experience there, right? You get these. Well, okay, I'm going to say because you're old, you have experience.
Yeah. I've been riding since 5 years old, so obviously,
you have.
14, I was Team KTM. I was riding 420 cc's at 14, 15 years old.
And
I went
an all
17.
place,
You know, passed my test at 17. I went from a ZX9 to a Z1300 at 17. No kid at 17 should be riding a Z1300, but you respect that power.
That's right.
Yeah, but we get a lot of youngsters in. You know, oh God, you know, I've done my mod 1 and my mod 2. What should I step up to? Should I get a 900? No, step up to a 500, 600. Get your experience first.
Yeah, exactly.
Learn the power of the bike, and then start stepping yourself up, because you're going to die. You're going to die.
Yeah, and that's the bit that gets me. I've got it on camera. If I was to put it up on YouTube, you would be like, "Holy shit, how close they were to me."
You know what? That's a good topic. Like, well, I would like to go around the room, and I'd like to know when you guys started. When was your first bike, and the series of bikes that you went through to get to where you, and if you've had any incidents. So I'll save me for last. Jim, you're on my right side here. Why don't you start off? When was your?
I was 17. Yeah, so I had I wanted a Honda NSR 125, and I ended up with a Kawasaki AR 125. That's what I started riding on. And I went from that to a TZR 125. They were amazing. Then I had a Gap, and then my first proper big bike was a GESX 600F, which was a teapot, which was pretty rapid. But I had a couple of scary moments on that.
Right.
But went over a roundabout once in it and dented the front wheel. But it was bad. Yeah, the GSXR 1100. That was pretty mad. It was not a nice wheelie machine. Blackbird. Yeah, I've had loads. Yeah, all types of bikes. I've not had. I had an off on the AR 125. That was a bit crazy. That was locked up the front because I was a bit inexperienced at the time. Car came at me, and I locked up the front and lost the front and crashed. Apart from that, I haven't had any touch wood. I haven't had any major offs.
Good.
You know.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
Zed.
2009. That's when I passed my test, and I did what is called in the UK a direct access course, and I did it in Paisley, and it was all ex-police riders that they have, and it was a fantastic course. Basically, you start off on a 125. They then put you onto a bike called a Suzuki Van, which looks and feels to all intents purposes like a bigger bike, but it's still a 125. It's got the chubby wheels and whatever, and then you do the rest of your lessons on I think it was an ER5F, I think it was, Kawasaki. So I passed my test on that. And then my first bike was a ZZR 600 E1.
Nice.
So basically, that I had that bike for, oh God, how many years? I did everything to it. I stripped it completely down to the frame, and I powder coated everything, new bearings. Basically, I did it like an education. I wanted to know the bike inside out. Being an engineer, it's the inquisitive mind as well, and I wanted to bring it up to a level that I was happy with. So everything got done to it. And then I went into AMR Motorcycles in Renfrew to actually get the ZZR 600 MOT'd, and they had the 1200S, the ZRX 1200S they had sitting in the showroom. And I started talking to Alistair, and he's like, well, it's for sale, everything's for sale, you know that. He's like, right, okay. He's like, threw me the keys. So that was the first that's a massive step, 600 to 1200. But I think the thing that helped me there was because it's a muscle bike, it's kind of detuned in the sense that it's all low end grunt, but when you get to the top end, it kind of runs out of steam because it only had 5 gears as well.
Yeah.
I had rental bars. It was a beautiful bike, half fairing, and I absolutely loved it. And then I was selling the ZZR, and the guy wanted an MOT on it. So, because I had the two bikes at one point, and he wanted an MOT on it. So I took it back to AMR to get the ZZR MOT'd, and the biggest ZZR was sitting in the showroom.
Oh wow!
So I'm sitting there looking at it like that, and he comes out, goes, "All right, big man." And I'm like, "What's the deal with this?" He's like, threw the keys. Away I went, and I was like, "Right, okay." So I actually had a wee look at the ZRX that I had. Now, there's two different models of that bike: the ZRX 1200R, which is like what's the replica that they do? Is that John Reynolds? Is it John Reynolds replica?
Reynolds, yeah.
Aye, it's like it's all green, Kawasaki green and whatever. And the 1200S, the ZRX 1200S, is a half faired. But what a lot of people at the time were doing was buying the 1200S and converting it to an R.
Yeah, that's right. I remember this.
So the 1200S was becoming rarer and rarer. So when I took the 1200S back to him, he's like, I said, "Stuart, I'm looking at it on what I should be offering you for it on the book price." I said, "But I can't offer you what the book price is telling me because it's worth more." So it was a timing thing. I was getting the bigger bang for my buck in the sense of trading that in against the ZZR, and that's what I did. So 3 bikes I've had in my career, and the only sort of scary sort of moment that I had was coming actually back from Tyndrum. I'd been my mate was used to be a trial bike rider. He was a Scottish junior trial bike champion, but he's got ulcerative colitis, so he had to have a procedure done. So he stopped riding. So when he basically sort of got better and he was riding again, and incidentally, Jimmy had a Millie R. That's what he rode when we went out for a little jaunt. We went up to Fort William to the 6-day trials, the Scottish 6-day trials that are up there, which is trial biking. So we went up to watch that. So we went all the way through Glencoe to Fort William and all the way back. And we're doing all the overtaking, all the manoeuvres, and everything was fine. We got to Tyndrum, and then we were heading down the loch side, and it was, I think it was a left-hand corner. It was swept into a right going downhill, and there was a left-hand corner at the bottom. There was a dry stone wall on the left-hand side. Now this happened I had only been riding about 2 months, and an object fixated on the dry wall on the inside, and as I've done it, I've held onto the clutch, so I've lost all my engine braking. And being an inexperienced biker, I didn't understand this. So basically, I felt as if the bike accelerated, but I hadn't. It was just the fact that I'd taken the engine braking. Yes, yep. I'd taken that. So basically, the weight and the inertia of the bike was putting me where I didn't need to be. Yeah, so I started to run wide, but I had the presence of mind to lean and try and get it around the corner as a Range Rover was coming towards me. Oh. So my mate's behind me, and I'm heading towards this Range Rover, and I could see the guy in the car starting to brace, and the bike started to. It was all over the place. It was trying to spit me off. I had my 2 feet down. I took near enough the soles off my boots, trying to stabilise the bike. And at the last minute, I pinned the throttle, and the bike straightened up, and I shot straight, and I went past his wing mirror, missed the Range Rover altogether, and shot up the road. And my mate actually had to chase me and catch me and pull me into the side and, "Are you okay?" Because he thought I hit the thing. Yeah. Wow. But everything was on. And that's the sort of scariest moment. But that was a learning experience in itself, for the simple fact that I actually went back and tried to understand what I did wrong. And that's an important thing that I think that everyone that rides has to do. If you have made a mistake, you need to own the mistake.
Yes.
And go back and understand what it is that you did wrong, so you can learn from it and make sure that you never do it again.
Agreed. Totally. All right, Gareth, fill our boots, man.
I got into motorbikes at a kind of later age. I was just in my early 20s. My dad had a few accidents in his early days, and my mother and father turned and said, "As long as you don't live under this roof, you will not have a bike license." So I moved out at the age of 21. Said, that's fine. Moved out at age 21 and had a bike license probably just as Sarah and I were getting together. We've been together for 17 years almost now. So yeah, so my first bike, I did my test very similar to Zed, but it was a few years before him. So I started my license on a Saturday and I had my full license by the Thursday.
Nice.
6 days. I did it the old way. And stupidly or not, my first bike, believe it or not, was an R6. I basically did the whole 20-odd-year-old thing, you know. I want the fastest thing that I can afford to buy at the time. I was just out of my apprenticeship working in the oil and gas industry, as you do, and I could afford an R6, so I went and bought an R6. And then had that for a little while. Then Sarah started to want to come with me on runs, so I then went and bought something else that was a bit ridiculous. I went and bought, which was at the time the world's fastest production motorbike, the ZZR 1100, the Kawasaki, right? And it was an H plate. It was one of the old ones. I've still got the pictures of it, and it was original. Had that for 2 years. It was probably one of the best bikes I've ever owned. Was the ZZR 1100 I had. It was carbureted, the whole lot. You know, the choke, manual choke, the whole lot. And had that, and Sarah and I went everywhere on that bike. We went up and down the country on it, up over Scotland in it. It was more capable than I'll ever be. And then I progressed onto the Z1000 Kawasaki. And then I had that for a while, and then there was a Hayabusa after that, which was just insane. I'll tell you a funny story about the Hayabusa. I had a first piece race leather suit on, right? And I just got it, and it was very tight in some areas. It was not the gloat, but it was a bit tight in the old crotch, you know. And so I was going up the hill, and where I stay, the Glen Bray, and it was a bit steep. So I wasn't paying attention at the time, and I stood up on the pegs, and I was trying to pull the leathers out of my crotch. It was like so uncomfortable. I was like, oh, this isn't right. But what was I doing with my right hand at the time going up the hill?
Yeah.
Right. So the front end lifted, and what did I do? I literally crapped myself. Right? Bike came slamming back down, and I burst the fork tube on it.
Oh,
Right?
jeez.
It just poof. You know, it just bang came down hard. I wasn't used to wheeling, especially something with 200 horsepower. And also my body weight coming crashing down on a hill. So I burst the fork tubes on that, got it all repaired and all that kind of thing, and it scared the crap out of me. I think that Hayabusa could do something like 84 miles an hour in first gear. It was a K7. It was just ridiculous. So Sarah didn't like it, so I traded that bike in, and I got the ZX10R. And then shortly afterwards, my father passed away, and I decided that sports bikes were no longer for me. Changed the mindset and all that kind of thing, and then I got my first Harley, and that's been 10 years. 10 years of Harleys. So, and the biggest scares are similar to Zed's. It's been target fixations. I've pulled on heavy on the brake. First I've pulled on heavy on the brakes on loose gravel. And I've folded the bike a couple of times in my day, but the scariest ones have always been the target fixations up towards where he's talking about, up Loch Lomond. The bends are so tight and they're blind, and if you just get fixed on a pretty bit of water or something, that's it. You're over the other side of the road.
A momentary lapse, that's all it takes.
That's right. And as a guy who does ride his bike with his wife who rides a bike as well, you know what the scariest part of riding like that is not knowing where they are. If you know what I mean. As somebody who does that a lot, I always tell Sarah to go up front, like, so I can see her. I don't like her riding behind me, because I'm always like that in the mirrors.
In the mirrors,
You know.
Have you got comms? Do you
We have. I've got Senners now. So
Yeah.
Beforehand, we just came out with signals and stuff.
Yeah.
But now that we have the comms, it's made life a lot easier. But
Definitely.
yeah, as somebody who is like I mentioned in one of my other videos, I'm a trained road captain, and like I always have Sarah sitting in front at a staggered point, so I know where she is, and she's more competent than I let her. I mean, I know she is, and that's the thing. It's just me being overcautious. So that is one of the scariest things. Is when I've seen Sarah go round the bend, my heart jumps out my mouth, and I go. Kind of like, but then she's fine. But it's just because it's you overthinking that there's idiots on the road, that kind of situation. So, but that's it really. So that's kind of like in a nutshell.
Rev.
Oh God, here we go. Life bloody story here.
You've got 4 minutes.
Now, Rev, see when they're talking about two-wheeled vehicles, you can't start talking about your chariot riding.
No. Right. So my dad was a big bike rider in the 70s and the 80s. So started me at 5. I had a 50cc automatic monkey bike that I used to be able to get on. Then he got me into, he had a BSA Bantam. So I learned to ride that Bantam at 12 years old. Believe it or not, my dad went through the photo albums a couple of weeks ago and found photos of me when I was 12 years old, actually riding his BSA Bantam. So that was the first time I'd ever rode his Bantam at 12 years old. Got into professional motocross at 14, started on a KX125, got hired by Team KTM, jumped on a 2-stroke 420. I had a very, very good professional career lined up for when I was 17. Only thing is, 17th birthday, my dad said to me, he said, "You've got your bike test today." And I'm like, "Oh, really?" Here's the keys to my Honda Super Dream. You've got a test. And I went, "Okay, you'll phase it." Halfway to the test, and I met a Mini on a hairpin bend, and it was a case of the Mini was on my side of the hairpin bend. He overshot it, so it was a case of hit the Mini, and I'm thinking your brain instantly reacts because obviously being a motocross rider, you're aware to what's going on around you. So I'm like, hit the car, road bike, wheelie, put it into the field. Road bikes do not wheelie and do not motocross jump, and this bike. I came around 2.5 hours later in John Radcliffe Hospital. Short story is I ended up with a pin in my femur, pin in my tibia, and a hinge behind the right knee. And they said to me, "You'll never walk again. You'll never, ever ride again." 3 weeks later, I had a plaster cast from hip to ankle, and we actually cut my plaster cast down just above the knee and below the knee so I could do my test 3 weeks later. And I went out, and it was a right-hand gear change. It was an old British bike with a right-hand gear change. We actually screwed a Coke can onto the bottom of my sole so that I could put my heel under and change gear. I did 10 minutes of the test. The instructor went, "Get back to the test centre. You've passed." I went, "Really?" He went, "If you can ride in a plaster cast, passed your test." So first bike out was a ZX9R. Then I went 3 months later to a Z1300. I got left a bit of money when I was 18, so went out and got me 2 bikes. My phone is going nuts here. I jumped between La Verde Jota, Moto Guzzi Le Mans Mark II, Fireblades, CBRs. There was nothing that ever floated my boat. Until obviously I had a couple of, I always loved the CBR because it was probably CBR 600 is the best handling sports bike out until I got obviously the ZX7. And obviously the ZZR's come around now and I'm like, "Oh, this is pretty good." So I'm settled in the ZZR, but I don't know whether it's an age thing or whether I'm just getting to be an old fart, but I'm actually getting into cruiser bikes, and I do love that Harley Nightster that we had in. If I had the money, I would have bought that Harley Nightster straight away. We had an amazing time with that bike. But obviously we had a guy with an Indian, it was an Indian bobber in a couple of weeks ago. I put the photo up on my Instagram. That bike was, and I took that out and had a ride on that. But it's, it's horses for courses. It's something I've had a lot of the thing is with bike riding, because obviously I ride 7 or 8 bikes a day, 6 days a week. I do a local ride with a CBT school twice a year, and he actually evaluates my driving. So it's like going on a full DAS course, but he just watches. And every time I ride, within 20 seconds of me being out on a ride, he will say to me, "Get off your front brake," because I've got a bad habit of trail braking going into corners. It's a track thing. Probably my 2 biggest offs, obviously the one I had when I was 17, and the one that I had, because I do 5 or 6 tracks a year normally. The biggest off I've had was at Mallory Park. We had a MotoGP test rider. And it was a track day. We did Mallory Park, and if you've ever ridden Mallory Park, you'll know the bump that is halfway down the straight on Mallory Park.
Yep.
I always like to start from the back of the pack because I like a challenge of trying to get past everybody. 8 laps in, it was an 8-lap race, and 5th lap in, I'm in 2nd place chasing hunting this guy down. He took the straight, gone into the first corner, and I'm watching him halfway down the straight. He'd gone into the 2nd corner, and the bike high-sided, and he ended up in the gravel. I'm thinking, what the hell's going on here? Until I hit the bump, and then I looked down, 50 yards in front of me, patch of oil, and I went straight through the patch of oil.
Wow.
Back end snake in. So all I did was pulled left, dropped the bike down, slid down the track, ended up in the gravel, picked the bike up, went back to the pits. He's in there, and I went, "What the hell happened there?" And he went, "Yeah, you dumped the bike as well." Yeah. He said, "I took off so quick because you were chasing me down." He said, "When I actually came down off the bump, I smacked the sump on the ground." Cracked his sump and dropped his sump all over the floor. Of course, I went through the panel. I went through the oil. I was all right. Lever's a bit scuffed. But we're all laughing about it in the pits until one of the guys got his phone and went, "Look at this." And I'd got a brand new set of Dainese levers on that I'd bought for the track, thinking I'll show off in my new levers. When he actually took the photo of it, and I've still got the photo somewhere, I'll have to put it up on the Instagram one day. I've actually taken the arse cheeks out my Daineses, and you can see my pants. But it's horses for courses. You know, I enjoy riding bikes, whether it's a 125, even a twist and go 50cc. I love every bike every day. But getting out on those big bikes, it's just like that VFR that I rode this week was just what a bike, and that was a trade-in. A couple of scratches on it. We've given it a respray, and we've given it a service, but for the price that it is, someone is going to have a bargain out of that VFR because it is such a sweet ride off that V engine.
Right, I'm going to jump. Can I jump in on that? I watched that video of that VFR, right? And you know, the first thing that was going through my mind was, what does somebody trade a bike like that in for when it's so good? You know, you've got a bike that's spotless, runs well, it's ageless, and it does everything that it says on the tin. What do you upgrade to?
Exactly. And he just wanted the money for it, and it was like, he's like, I just want to sell my bike. I need them. People at the moment with lockdown and obviously furlough and what's going on, people, because we said to him when he came in, obviously we will offer you a trade price, because at the end of the day we've got to service it, put an MOT on it, put a warranty on it for 3 months. You're going to get a lot more money if you just advertise it locally or put it on eBay or put it on. And he went, "Do you know what? I can't be really asked with all the listings and all the idiots coming to me and offering
tire kickers."
Yeah, the tire kickers. Right. And we had a guy come in today, and he wanted to look at the GTR 1400 that we've got in and the VFR. And he went, it's had a respray on the front wing. And I went, yeah, because it had a few fairing scratches. Our guys resprayed the front wing up, just to make the panel look nice. It's not going to be as good as the original, but it's a used bike. It's a 63 plate. You're not going to get a spotless bike for that sort of money. It's not up for big money. And then he looked at the GTR and he went, I expected something newer. Well, go and buy a new bloody bike then.
Yeah, that's right,
yeah.
Just when you're, sorry, Brad, I was going to say, just when you're talking about like people needing money, it's like obviously this furlough scheme is going to be stopping soon, so they're talking about a lot of sort of problems going to happen with that. So there might be a lot of bikes needing to go.
I know, but it's
Not
people haven't. It's people they want to sell them, but people haven't got the money to buy them.
Yeah, well, that's it.
That's the other thing, you know.
It's
So,
like the housing market will do exactly the same.
well, yeah, you know, the amount of houses that are up for sale around by me is quite a lot compared to what it has been in the last few years.
Yeah,
They just seem to be people are just having to sell up and move on. So, I say this lockdown's got a lot to answer for.
yeah.
You know, and I think, and I don't like other companies are feeling it as well now. Not to divert it back to the old bar and shield up here, but the UK just announced. Did you see the 50% increase in import taxes on Harley Davidson in Europe? Yeah.
Jeez.
So here's the thing, right? So obviously, if Harley Davidson are getting charged over 50% increase in import taxes, where's that money coming from? It's going onto the bike, isn't it?
Yeah,
So,
Joe Public's paying for it.
yeah, and if you think about it, just like I mentioned earlier, you know, like Harley Davidson, that bike that Sarah looked at was 26 grand. How much is that going up to next? 30.
Yeah.
You know, it can't happen. I'm not paying £30,000 for a bike to sit in a garage for 6 months a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the drop.
You know,
Yeah.
It's 56 tariff, but it's 50% into Europe. But yeah, it's ridiculous. You know,
That's a problem here in Canada for sure. I mean, at least where I am, we can't ride that many months a year. But so yeah, I guess my story is similar. I started when I wasn't quite 5, but I was 7, and so where I grew up, our house was on the edge of the city, and it's all prairie behind us, and there was trails and little things to climb and stuff. So I got a Honda Z50. Had a 3-speed slush box transmission, so no clutch, but it was a manual transmission. And so I started off in that, and then motocross racing sounded like a good idea. So I went first bike, the actual racing bike was a KX50 from Kawasaki, and then I went to a Yamaha YZ100, YZ125, and then I went up to 250 class and got Suzuki RM 250.
RM, yeah.
Yep. And so that's about where I ended actually sanctioned racing. I did get stupid and I bought a YZ 490 to do a little hill climbing. But when I was, so as far as crashing, when I was a kid though, on that Honda Z50, if I didn't come home bleeding, it wasn't a good day. We didn't have fun. So, and I remember I didn't even have a real helmet. My mom was a single mom, didn't know any better, and it was a plastic football helmet. You know, a toy one, and that's what I had to bomb around in the prairie on, right? But actually, all of us kids in the neighborhood, there was 6 of us that all had Honda Z50s, and so it was we were a little biker gang there in the backyard.
Biker gang.
That's funny.
And when I turned 16. That's when you can get your bike license here. So I did. I borrowed my friend's bike, which I ended up buying. Actually, it was a Honda 400 or Yamaha 400. Sorry, and I bought that from him, and I went and got my license on that. We don't have to go through all the shit like you guys do over there. If you turn 16 and you want to get your bike license, you can go out and buy anything, absolutely anything on 2 wheels. There's no CC limits. You don't have to take any rider courses, anything. And so because I'd had a bike since I was 5 and I raced motocross hardcore, I mean, control of a bike was what I had to do, what I did. So I didn't take any kind of a course. Oddly enough, when you go to get your license here, it's changed now, but back then you either went out on the road and you had a little earplug in, and you had, just like they teach you to skydive, it was a little Velcro thing that went on your chest with a little 2-way radio. You couldn't talk back, but you could hear them. The instructor will follow you with a car, tell you turn here, stop there, or you get the obstacle course. And when I went, I got the obstacle course. So it was fun for me. I mean, that was like dirt bike on the pavement, so it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that and got my license, and then I got tired of that 400 pretty fast, and I went and bought a V65 Magna, and that was one of my favorite bikes. I wish I still had that. That was a beast. So I went from the V65 I actually crashed that bike. Is the reason I don't have it anymore. I took my girlfriend to a dance at the dance hall, and then when we were coming home, it was pouring rain. So I said, you know what? I got her a taxi and sent her home because she actually lived in the next little town from me. So I got her a taxi home, and good thing I was cutting through downtown in the city here, and I took a fairly hard corner, and the bike just dropped out from under me. I could actually see the colored sheen on the road. I don't think there was like an oil slick like Rev had, but there was clearly something on the road, and that bike just dropped out in front of me, and we still had phone booths then, and right on the corner, and the bike fell out from under me, and I think I took like 3 or 4 steps, and I remember just turtling up, and I smashed right through that phone booth. I was actually going way too fast too. I mean, that was totally my fault, and so I broke 2 ribs on the crossbars in there, and my bike actually hit the curb and smashed the whole engine case, and it flipped over, and it went through the back window of a pickup truck that was parked there, and did a lot of damage to the truck, dude. Actually, it smashed the back window, but also bent the cab pillar, the back corner cab pillar. So, yeah, that was a train wreck. So,
Did that in style.
I did that with style.
Yeah.
So, you know, that was very beginning of summer, and so that was like in June, and then by July, I had it was in 1986. So I bought a brand new, like you said, you know, good job, young, no bills. I bought a GSX 1100, and I scared the shit out of myself on that bike lots of times, but not enough to make common sense kick in. But anything that'll pull its front wheel up at 70 miles an hour on the highway and keep accelerating is pretty fun, right? But and then I just went through a gamut of I bought the Yamaha 650 Sika Turbo. I went through turbochargers pretty much as often as you filled gas, because it would just ash up in the turbo and wreck the bushings in it. And then and then I bought a Goldwing. I had an old Goldwing, just like exactly the same as Shade Tree Surgeon's bike. Yeah, and
which one, the 12 or the 15?
The 12. Yeah.
Okay.
So and then so you know, I had that for a while, and I bought another V65, and so I had the 2 bikes for a while because I didn't let the Goldwing's just too much in town, right? But and I sold the Goldwing and I sold the V65, and I got into Harley, and I've never looked back. So so but that was really my only crash. I've certainly scared myself lots of times, but
now you want to buy an Indian.
And now I want to buy an Indian. Yeah. Well, he's gone, so you can say whatever you want, man. But and Wibbly Wobbly's here. But yeah, so that's my deal. And
Wibbly Wobbly, how you doing?
So lots of Wibbly, I think, should come up here and tell us his story. What do you think?
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. Wibbly, here's the link, buddy.
Wibbly's been up there.
Come and tell us your story, man. So yeah, we've all had some late bloomers and some early bloomers, but yeah, it's been a lot of years, man. We did have.
I will tell you one thing though. It's an old cliche. I wouldn't change it for the world. No. You know, like all the bikes that I've done and the life that I've had because of them. You know, like the traveling and all that stuff. And we're all the same. I would never say I wish I'd done anything different. Because
the people I've met as well.
Definitely.
Still friends with. Yeah.
You know, like I hired a bike when I rode a bike from Lake Jackson to Memphis in a day back in 2014, right? And the people that I met on that journey just said, "Oh, where are you heading?" And the minute I started talking, they looked at me and went, "Oh, you're not from Texas," you know. And I went, "No," and they were just asking me, "Why am I riding to Memphis?" You know? Just little things like that. You know, what's that?
Which is it?
Jesus Christ!
But it's actually it's a program on YouTube. Well, I found it on YouTube. It's called The Clandestine, and it's about a moto vlog, about a biker group in Ireland. And they've basically it's stupidly funny.
Right.
I just put it in Google, the clandestine. It just come up with a clandestine.
Aye.
So I have two more topics that I'd just love to pick your guys' brain on, and actually Rev, it's even written down, so I'm not making that up. And Rev mentioned it, and that's trail breaking.
Yes.
I want to know if you guys all do that.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
Jim,
Do it on the bend.
too?
A trail break on the bend.
I tend to do. If you happen to watch where we shoot the video, the same bit where I go round that same roundabout, getting the bike low, I'm actually trail braking the front end and counter steering.
Yep.
When you get used to riding the big bikes, you know when that tire is starting to break away on the back end. You can feel it starting to skitter. So trail brake, counter steer, lean angles, power on, power delivery, power coming out the corner. It's not something you can teach someone. It's gained by experience, and the easiest way to gain that experience is a track day. Because if you go and do an experienced track day, they will teach you to trail brake, counter steer, lean angles, get off the bike. For years and years and years, I always thought that you actually sit on the bike and lean the bike. You don't. You actually hang off the bike, keep the bike more upright, and you'll get it through the corner a lot quicker. And I was doing it totally wrong until I went out with my CBT riding. Went, what the hell are you doing? I went, leaning the bike, and he went, no, get off the bike, keep the bike upright, you'll get through the corner, and it improves your corners by about 2 or 3 seconds.
So you sporty riders, you definitely more applicable to you guys. I think I do trail brake, but I don't trail brake that bagger too often. I'm not very much anyway, or I shouldn't say not much as in not often, but not much as in very aggressively. Because I don't ride it aggressively in the corners, because it doesn't take much, and my floor plates are hitting, right? My footboards. But Zed, did you say yes? You do? Yeah, I do. If I'm entering the corner, obviously, like I've got a handful of front, minimal rear, but when I'm going into the corner, I'll start releasing the front, and I'll just hang on to the rear just ever so slightly, and it just settles the bike as it's going round the corner. Before you're just the next thing you're doing is powering up to exit.
Yeah.
But heavy on the front. The reason for that is to load the front tire. You want to load the front tire. You want to smear it into the tarmac. That's the one thing.
Basically,
the only thing. Yep.
It changes the whole geometry of your bike too.
Absolutely.
That front end down, it changes the geometry, and
Anonymous did a very, very good video on trail braking.
He certainly did. Yep. It's just kind of what inspired me to do that today, is talk about that, is because of Anonymous's video. So it just made me think, you know what, I do that. I wonder if everybody does that.
Yeah.
I got taught all about that at Mallory Park when Rev was talking about it earlier. I did the Niall Mackenzie race school day down there.
Yeah.
And I followed this guy, and he was teaching me all about trail braking and leaning the bike over and like taking half an ass cheek out of it and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Get your ass out the bike, not sit on it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like struggling. I couldn't keep up with this guy because he was a British superbike rider. I forget his name, but I've got it on DVD. You know, when we used to watch DVDs. It was so he had a camera on the back of his bike facing me, right? And he would so I'd follow him. I lost him at the bus stop. It was like off, and he was teaching me all about how to do let's say trail braking. He was talking about how to load up your front wheel on bends and things like that, and it was really, really good. And I think I still apply those principles to riding my Harley now.
Yeah,
you know. Same, it's a bike, it's a motorcycle at the end of the day, you know. So,
yep, that's a fair statement. So I don't think comparatively, like if you and I are on our baggers, I don't think the geometry changes that much on that bike. when you trail brake.
Right.
Just because they already are longer and lower as
Right.
compared to like the sport bikes, everybody else on our panel here, where they really change your geometry when they bring that down, and it shortens that profile of that bike up like crazy. I think is more aggressive in that style of bike than our baggers.
See, the,
No,
wor-
really
the
effective.
worst thing is cornering is obviously the younger riders, and you still get it a lot on the older riders, is target fixation.
Yeah.
Where they're
Yep.
actually focused on the corner instead of looking past the corner to your farthest point you see, and that's where your head wants to be, looking across
That's right.
the farthest point of the
Look
corner.
where you're going to go, not where you're going.
Exactly. Yeah.
I did a bike safe course which was run by the police, and one of the things that the advanced riders actually tell you is when you're studying the road and you're looking at the profile of the road, the trees never move.
Mm.
So if the trees are going round to the left-hand side, you know that that's where the bend is. That's where the bend's going.
Mm.
So it's just a way of interpreting the corner.
Yeah.
But do you like, you know, I mean, even now when I ride my Harley, I still apex corners.
Yeah,
You know,
definitely.
I don't just meander around a bend. You know,
No.
I still look for that racing line, even
Yeah.
when I'm unknown. You know, I'll still find the fastest way around a bend.
I did a vlog from Tyndrum to Tinverary going over the Dalmally Pass, and that
Right.
was somebody. It was actually an advanced rider that actually private messaged me and said, "Listen, I just wanted to say that your riding position throughout that whole vlog was absolutely immaculate. Your observations on the road were fantastic. Now, that might have been just for that one ride I got it right, because sometimes even now you can't be perfect in every single ride. It just doesn't happen. But that ride I was totally dialed in and switched on, and that was his opinion on that ride, you know. And it's good
Now,
to hear that, you know.
I take it you were going at a pace though.
Yeah, I wasn't holding back. Yeah.
That's what I mean. So it's like, because that's a different style in riding. Because like me and Brad, when we were out riding the baggers,
Yeah.
even though I look for my position on the road and I always like do a thing, I don't have to take the racing line like what you do every time. You know, when I used to ride my ZX10, I did, but not because now I go for a more leisurely ride. You know, leisurely. But yeah, no, that's good though. That's good, man. That's a good compliment to get.
Yeah.
You know, so
Kind of reaffirmed what the way I ride like that all the time anyway, but kind of reaffirmed that what I was doing was right.
Yeah.
But I mean, like the likes of what you're saying about taking a leisurely ride. There's a couple of my vlogs where I've actually said, listen, you've probably noticed I've not overtook anyone because I just don't want to tonight. I just want to just chill out and just enjoy being in the moment. Do you know what I mean? Smell the grass and whatever else, you know?
That's right. I was coming down from Loch Lomond the other week there, and there was 2 sports bikes behind me trying to egg me on, right? And I do remember what I done, because Sarah tells me off for this. I went round the bend, and because I've got the stage 5 done at the Harley, and I was off. I think I gave the guys in the sports bikes a little fright to say.
Shouldn't have done that.
I should have. I was like, obviously they completely went past me like I was standing still 2 minutes later. But it was good for that 40 seconds, you know. You know.
Speaking of speed, Jimbo.
Yeah.
You wanna? So you mentioned something in one of the dual vlogs that we did, and that was average speed cameras. So we don't have anything actually called that over here. What exactly is average speed cameras? Is that photo radar? Does it take your picture, send you a ticket?
Yeah. It's funny because you can get some that are front facing, so it's not too much of a problem if you're on a bike, because our number plates are on the rear. So if they're front facing, it's like, you know, you can really do whatever you want to do. But
doesn't apply to us.
I've noticed now, there's a couple now where they've cottoned onto it and they've switched them around, so you've got one camera facing
Joe.
one facing rear now.
Brad, what it does is it's called ANPR. It's number plate recognition. So basically, the camera when you enter the zone, it photographs you and starts a timer, and then when you leave the zone, it recognizes the plate again, and then it calculates the time that you've taken to trigger the first camera to the second camera, and it estimates that where your speed was and that duration. So if you've got there too fast, you've obviously been traveling at speed.
So that's where the average speed thing comes in. So ours is different here. Ours is just like radar. So there's either in a vehicle sitting stationary on the side of the road, or they have little boxes they set up, and all it does is just hit you with radar. And if you're speeding, then it shoots a picture of your back plate, and then you get a ticket in the mail. Well, a week later.
Yeah.
And so it's instantaneous. But we have radar detectors are legal here. So I mean, I don't know. Are they legal in the UK?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Did quick one for Stu? Does well, any of our British guys, do you watch the Interceptors, or I can't remember what the other one's called? There was one from a couple of years ago where they caught a couple of Polish guys that were speeding the London to Brighton run, and they'd actually pulled him over. They couldn't get his speed because he basically burst through the first ANPR camera, but not triggered the second one. But the bike coppers were up behind him at just under 100, and he'd actually got a number plate flipper.
I've seen that.
Yeah, and he'd got it wired into his dash where it actually kicked in at 70 mile an hour. So as soon as he hit 70, up went the number plate, and I thought, what a damn good idea. But obviously the bike copper's up behind him at 85 mile an hour, and his plate's up, and so he got hammered.
So there's a better trick than that, and guys use them here. And it's a piece of plastic that goes over top of your plate, and if you perfectly straight on, it's clear as a bell. But as soon as you go off angle, it turns all silver.
Yeah.
So the speed cameras can't get you, but if they're following you, they can't tell there's anything wrong with your plate. So, okay, that explains that then. So it's using radar, so it doesn't use radar then. So a radar detector is no good. Is that what you're telling me?
But the average ones.
Yeah.
There's a guy in Florida on a sports bike now. I remember it was on the news when we were over there on vacation about 18 months ago. And he had his number plate was obviously false, but there were stickers. So he peeled it off and threw it in the air. And I was like, that's ingenious.
What you need is a number plate. Like, let's just see if I can get in on that. It's not picking it up. But have you noticed what happens to my plate?
No.
This is what happens when you try to do this chromatography and be a
but if you actually look, the bottom half of my number plate is actually picking up on the chroma key.
Right.
Yeah, because the bottom half of my number plate is anti-reflective, so you'll get the 371 off me because mine's P371, but the bottom half of the number plate doesn't read on ANPR.
Oh, I hope there's no 5-0 watching.
I know. It's like,
So they're going to sit there typing, waiting for shed loads of cameras. Yeah.
I'll get them.
Yeah, you'll get me one day.
Jim, a wee question for you. Now, I don't know whether it's urban myth, but there was a story about a Grampian police officer I think it was up near RAF Lossiemouth, and he was standing, and they'd set up a speed camera location. Obviously, it was a mobile site, so he had the gun, but there was a fighter plane flying off the coast, and he actually went to check to see what speed that the plane was doing, and the radar gun just fried, and he took it back and it had failed. And apparently the legend is that basically what the radar gun had done was triggered the weapon systems on the plane, and the plane had actually jammed the radar.
That could be.
Yeah, I hadn't heard that one. I thought you was going to say about my mate who he was on he had an Aprilia RSV Melee, and he got clocked. I think it was the fastest on speeding in Scotland at the time.
Right.
But he managed to get back on camp, and the coppers chased him on camp. But, yeah,
Wow.
I thought that's what you was going to go on about for a minute. But,
No.
no, that's probably it might be.
I've actually got.
tornadoes
Yeah,
up there,
I've got the story here for you. So, do you want me to read it out for you?
Wait,
Go for it.
wait,
so I'm just
wait.
Go on.
Chopper Fett's here, and
in-house.
we know he's just got himself a new bike that he bought off his dad.
Ooh.
We come on up here, Chopper, and as soon as Rev's done here, tell us about your new bike.
Yeah.
So, if you guys
So,
haven't seen his post,
Two British traffic patrol officers from North Berwick, east of Edinburgh, were involved in an unusual incident this morning whilst checking for speeding motorists on the A1 Great North Road. One of the officers, who is not going to be named, used a handheld radar device to check the speed of a vehicle approaching over the crest of the hill, and was surprised when the speed was recorded at over 300 miles an hour. The machine then stopped working, and the officers were not able to reset it. The radar, in fact, had actually locked onto a NATO Tornado fighter jet over the North Sea, which was engaged in a low-flying exercise over the Borders district. Back at police headquarters, the chief constable fired off a stiff complaint to the RAF liaison officer. Back came the reply in true laconic RAF style. Thank you for your message, which allows us to complete the file on this incident. You may be interested to know that your tactical computer in the Tornado had automatically locked onto your hostile radar equipment and sent a jamming signal back to it. Furthermore, the Sidewinder air-to-ground missiles above the fully armed plane had also locked onto the police officer. Fortunately, the Dutch pilot that was on test mission flying the Tornado responded to the missile status and was able to override the automatic protection system before the missile was launched. We thank you for your reply.
wow.
So he was going to get a
That's
rocket
crazy.
jammed up his ass.
That would have been bad news.
Oh, wouldn't that have been a surprise? Not for long.
Oh my god!
Pink mist. Yeah.
Light the target up.
Yeah.
So Chopper's going to be a poo poo. He's got kid duty, so we can't. I don't know if you guys have seen his last video. So
Yeah.
yeah.
The V Road. Yeah.
That's a nice bike. You've got one, right, Bern? Gareth, you have
Oh
one.
yeah, sorry. Yeah, I've got the Night Road. Yeah, I think his is just the V Road. I think his has got the 185 rear. I'm not sure, or has this got a? So I think my bike came with the 240 rear, and then the previous years came with the 185 or 180 in the rear, and that's where the big change came. In 2008, I think it was. So
Here we go.
yeah, 240 in yours. What year is yours again, Chopper? I can't remember what year's his bike. I do pay attention.
Yeah, and I'm going to start off this question for Jim too. So it didn't matter if it's raining or snowing. You're on the 8th, and do you have a 4-wheeler?
I do.
What do you have? What do you drive if you cannot drive the 8th?
Got a Renault Clio.
212.
Oh,
Got a little
what?
Renault Clio. 1200.
A Renault?
Beast. Yeah. Beast.
Do you know? I was going to say, do you know what?
Do men drive those? Is it
Oh, amazing.
They call them Renault clitorises up here.
Yeah. I can beat that. My wife, Melly, calls my car the rolling turd. Kia Picanto.
That's terrible. That's terrible.
That is my daily run to the garage. It's a £400 piece of shit, but who gives a
Zed, what do you got for a cage, buddy?
It's a Vauxhall Insignia. It's
it's
SRI. It's I bloody hate it.
I don't even know what that is.
I'm trying to think because Chevrolet did. It's like Chevrolet brought out the exact same model, Brad, over in America. It's only a different name, and they actually brought it. I think China have got it as well. When they brought it out, because I can buy parts for China, believe it or not, for my car, and they're exactly the same.
All right.
But I hate it. I absolutely hate it. I'm actually looking at a Mercedes C-Class Mercedes just now, diesel.
Very nice.
So
Diesel?
yeah, but I had a Volvo S40 and I loved
Right.
it. And I basically I owned that car outright, and I don't know why. I just, you know, that way where you're sitting one night and you look on and you, I fancy that. And that's what I did. And I traded it in and I regretted it ever since. So
Right.
so like I'm looking at changing it again. But I hate cars. The cars are just not my thing. I would rather have a garage full of bikes than cars, but I need a car for the family. So three kids, so you've got to transport them about somewhere.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
That's true.
And Gareth, you've got just pickups?
I've got a Ford Ranger Raptor, which is what I heard. I bought it last year, thinking I was going to become the next Ken Block and do a lot of off-roading, and believe it or not, I went out in the snow back in January, February there, and it was fantastic. It's a great truck. It really is.
Rangers are a great truck.
Oh, you put it into Baja mode, and it goes insane. It goes like 4-wheel drive, and it will drift everywhere in the snow. And it's got proper off-road tires on it, like proper, like not like a lot of the Rangers come with road tires. The Raptor comes with proper BF Goodrich mud tires on it, you know, and it's great fun. It's my wife has a car; she has a day-to-day. She has a Volkswagen Golf, but we have the big Raptor for kind of throwing around. But it's a shame because I'm away for 6 months of the year right now, and it doesn't really get used. But I love having it there when I get home. So
Doesn't Sarah like driving it?
oh, she loves driving it, but she never admits it.
There's only two decent pickup trucks. One is the Raptor, and then one is the F-150, but the Shelby 720 horsepower one.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm going to buy an American truck one day. I will, but I can't afford the fuel, so I'm going to buy it and stick it in the driveway. You know? So, but we'll see. It's not priority for me. I prefer my bikes. You know, I had a sports car before. I never used it, so I bought something that I can use all year round, and I did. And we've been up to the Cairngorms with it. We've been off-roading in it. I've used it for, like, I never thought I'd ever use a pickup truck for what it is until I bought one. Then I realised you can do so much with it.
Yeah.
You know, there you go. Yeah, there we go. Our road surfaces in the UK are absolutely shocking. So because it's got the Fox racing suspension in it, it comes standard.
That's it, yeah.
It's just you don't feel anything. Have you got the dual shocks on yours or the singles? The duals.
Yeah, duals. Yeah,
It's everything. It's like it's not got the wishbones or like the leaf springs in the rear. It's full.
Full Fox on,
Ford, yeah, the Ford Raptor is actually classified as a car. Because of that, the guy said to me when I bought it, he says, "You know that only tow 2.5 ton." And I looked at him and I went, "Do I look like the kind of guy that's going to tow 2.5 ton?" You know, and he says, "Oh, it's only got a load capacity 0.5 ton in the rear." And I looked at him and I went, "I'm not that heavy." You know, it's like, you know, I say this is a car for me. This is just it's like people go and buy like M3s and M2s and you know, like all these things, but the Raptor is just what it is. It's just a big utility truck here. It's quite menacing, so I quite enjoy it. So, yeah.
My last one, because I love my pickups. Obviously, I went and blew mine up big time. So, which was a shame, but that was my last one. That was my Pathfinder, but it's got a 12-inch lift on it.
Nice. I like them. I've always liked the Nissan Pathfinders.
Yeah, until I blew the engine on it, and that cost me $2,500, and then blew it again 6 months later. So it says a bit about my driving.
Oh dear. And we don't have to ask Diesel. We don't have to ask Brad what he has, because he has something supposedly that'll pull my truck sideways.
It will. Yeah, well, and fair enough to you though. That's not the original engine in it. I built the engine that's in it 2 winters ago, and lost all sense of reality when I built that engine. So, if I can't do it on straight fuel, I've got another switch I can click, and I've got another 80 horsepower meth water injection on top of it. So
nice.
But dyno was 1,150 foot-pounds. So, but yeah, I've got that, and I've got a Jeep XJ, and I've got a Jetta, and I've got a 75 Duster. So,
nice.
Yeah, that's 600 horsepower. That's a 408 cubic inch stroker that I built with FAST fuel injection. 456 strange gears in the rear, Keltrack, Calvert's rear suspension, 90-10 backs in the front.
Sell it to me.
Certainly. It actually is for sale. So, yeah.
Oh no. Okay, that's Sarah. I hope you're not listening.
She's listening.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Not a chance. She's got an Indian dealer to go to.
I'm gonna bail in a minute, fellas, because it's midnight here, and
Time to wrap it up. I'm getting hungry. It's 5 o'clock here, supper time.
Yeah. It's been good seeing you all.
It's been good. Yeah.
See you guys. If nothing else, I just wanted to hang out with you guys today.
Team's all here.
It's always a pleasure, brother.
That's good fun.
So I can't do the Fridays anymore. My new schedule, I'm Monday to Friday now. So that's why Jim and I talked today and decided to have this so we could get together. So Jim's place next time.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, Saturday again if you want. Then Brad, because I'm the same as you. I'm going to be Monday to Friday now. So yeah.
Okay.
Wow. Is this what happens when you get older?
So Jim, you've retired now, but you're a gigolo. Is that right? From Monday to Friday.
He's porn star.
What's your OnlyFans?
Sorry.
What's your OnlyFans?
Your OnlyFans.
Cookie Monsters Day Out.
JD hyphen chaps.
It's King Dong.
King Dog.
King Dog.
I thought it would have had a military theme, like Shaving Ryan's Privates or something like that.
Oh, unbelievable. Porn star, gigolo, you name it.
We'll have all the bases covered.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for coming. Really,
definitely. It's good seeing you.
It was good.
Yeah.
Stay safe at work there, Gareth.
Yeah, we'll do. Well, as I say, I'll be able to pick up the live streams on the weekends. But that'll probably won't be able to participate as often as I am just now, because I'm actually in quarantine at the moment. I've got to quarantine here for a few more days before I go back to work.
Yeah.
You know, as you do.
Are any of the areas that you're getting into going to be in the list? Because I mean, obviously, there's green zones just been announced. So
I was in Dubai. When I travel to Dubai, I'm in a red list. And then when I'm in where I'm just now is an amber, and then when I fly back through Paris, France is still an amber. If they turn to red list, then I'll have to quarantine a hotel when I get home. There's no avoiding it. There's no other way for me to get back. So I'm just hoping that over the course of the next few weeks that things get better and better. But every country I've been in, like Dubai, when I was talking to the guy in the hotel, he says the amount of vaccines that they've had is unreal. They're quite high. They're quite highly population is quite highly vaccinated now. Equatorial Guinea's the same. They're doing really well with their vaccines. But France is another question, isn't it? France is pretty bad right now. So it just depends what
I
happens
heard
with boards.
Jim's doing a helmet review and an OnlyFans.
Rock and feathers. Fair enough. So that's it, mate. Yeah, just a case of see what happens over the. Did you see the green list? The green light. There's countries that nobody goes to.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Falkland Islands, one of them.
Yeah.
It's like the Falkland Islands. Like, how many people are going on holiday to the Falkland Islands?
Yeah, mental.
Falkland Islands. Gotta say that.
My dad worked there for 4 years after the Falklands War. He basically worked for Balfour Kilpatrick, laying all the runway lights for the Port Stanley Airport.
Wow! Right.
And believe it, I've not got the keys on me just now, but I've got a 7.62mm round on my keys. That he brought back a whole handful of them because they flew into RAF Blythe Norton any time they come home.
Right.
So I've got all sorts.
I'll bet, yeah.
Well, you guys are loud. I do
key
too.
rings. They're only key rings.
All right, guys. So
yeah,
as they say in the UK, Tala.
Yeah.
See you later, buddy. Have a good one.
All the best. Take care.
Yeah, be well. Ride safe, guys.
Great speaking to you.
Ciao.
Again.
Take care.